By the way, if you need me this morning, my how the heck are yous were at top level.
Were they?
I was as proud of that on Friday as the starting five, and I will I know that you probably, having done it, do it quicker. You read through things a little more quickly than I do, but damn, that's a lot of work. I mean, I spent probably an hour and a half on it each day minimum. Because I kind of would start in the afternoon. I'd write everything out. I'd write all the games out so I could just fill in scores in the morning and things like that. But
Man. Thank you, Spitz. Where do you have 23 inches? That upstate New York, New England? Thank you, Johnny. 10 miles north of Boston. So what are you, near Gloucester? Yeah, I'm sure he's very sad. Tough to lose that game. Be that close. Huh.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floormeister Studios. Floormeisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you on an Overreaction Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Thanks for starting your week off with us. How the heck are you? Miller and Moulton on this final Monday of January in 2026. A 1/26/26 for the four of you who still write checks. Good morning. Top of the morning to you, Mark. How are you? How was your weekend?
My weekend was good, David. Welcome back. I bowed out in a little golf tournament I was in on Saturday in the semis. That was probably the low light of the weekend, but, you know, it is what it is. Got beat by a guy named Mark Miller. The one guarantee before the match is that Miller was going to the finals. To me, it
Nice.
was just the wrong Miller.
Nice. Do you guys have some illegal betting where you were somehow able to double down if either one of you advances, you're good or no?
We were trying, but not the case. Not the case.
Gotcha. So did you enjoy what to many of us is the best day of football of the year? Some enjoy divisional weekend, some enjoy wild card weekend, some it may be conference championship Saturday in college. All right.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. I loved it. The games were both great. There were key moments in each game, and obviously I will let you take the reins with the key moment in the Denver-New England game because it's only been a bone of contention for years for at least 2 years. And, for the record, I've actually tried a little more lately, and I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm going to lay it on the line a little bit. I feel slighted because David many times during the game either doesn't have his phone or just plain ignores me. But you did text back. I was impressed with that. But all of a sudden, early in the game, a key fourth down, and guess what? Denver goes for it.
Unbelievable.
And David, I guess I didn't pay attention to weather reports. I had no idea that it was going to get as ugly as it did. I don't know how much they knew as ugly it was going to get, but by all accounts, they were pretty aware that the weather was going to turn at some point in Denver. And he didn't take the damn points.
Listen, we referenced it last week. Sean Payton is a great coach, and he is. He's a great coach. There are very few coaches as arrogant as Sean Payton. There just are. It's part of his greatness. It's also part of his demise. All right. It makes absolutely no sense to go for it there. Absolutely none. You're dominating. You've got a quarterback who shouldn't be on the field playing. You're in position to get points. You have a terrific defense. You're at home. They've done nothing on offense. How many more points do you need to win the game? Seriously, Mark, 6.5 minutes to go second quarter. Did you ask yourself, I wonder how many more points Denver needs to win? Because I did, and I thought to myself, 13 might get it done. Probably would want 16 or 17, but I get a field goal here. I'm at 10, and I don't know how much more I need.
And it turned out 10 would have got you to overtime.
Well, and we got a lot to get to before we get into overtime in that game. We got a lot of explaining to do. Okay? The whole Stidham play, first off, what in the world is he thinking?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
honestly.
know. He seemed to like David, for a while, I thought I was back in 9th grade basketball where coaches very much wanted me at 56. Remember, this is a long time ago. You worked on drills doing the chest pass, bouncing the bounce pass from the chest, thumbs down. Thought he was making a chest pass back in 8th grade basketball.
I was going to say he tried 3 of them in the game.
Yes, he did, David.
I mean, he's not a middle school backup point guard, for goodness sakes. First, in all honesty, take the sack. I mean, what are you doing? You had 5 seconds to get rid of that ball and throw it in the 4th row. And honestly, take the sack. I mean, that's unbelievable that a professional quarterback would make that play and attempt that play. It is. It's a mind-boggling. I mean, listen, we can blame Sean Payton for a few things today. We can't blame him for that. That's incompetence to a level that you can't comprehend as a coach. You can try to coach around certain things. You can't coach around your quarterback doing something like that.
It's a little thing before that, though, David. New England's doing nothing and did nothing for most of the game. Before the drive before that, New England's pinned pretty deep. Drake May throws a 3rd and 13 pass to get them a first down. that effectively flipped the field to put Denver in the spot they were in. I'm not excusing what Stidham did by any means, but if that's at the 50, and I mean, we'll talk about the refs later and how, thank goodness for New England, they were able to get 6 there, 7 with the extra point, obviously. But that, in a day and age when we're not blowing plays dead, we let things play out seemingly once every game, every week. In the biggest moment, we've decided to blow the whistle. Woo. Thank goodness. Thank goodness they scored.
Well, there's still debate as to, okay, the ball went backwards. I think we'd all agree on that, correct?
Yes.
He tries the two-handed 13-year-old middle school shovel pass from like the 14.5-yard line, and the ball lands at the 13.5-yard line. But the ball landed there because the Patriots defender blocked the pass. Does that count? I mean, the reason the ball went backwards was not Jared Stidham. The reason the ball went backwards was the Patriot defender. I mean, listen, the NFL got the call wrong, and I guess they got it wrong. They said they got it wrong. They said they had to correct it. God knows CBS didn't know what the hell was going on. I mean, they had 3 minutes. They took 14 stabs at it. They didn't get it right once. Okay? I mean, that play was nuts.
I thought it was a fumble live. For the record, I thought it was a fumble live, not a pass. And I guess it's because he pushed it out of his hands, and I guess that could be considered a pass because he did it 3 times in the game. But live, I thought it was a fumble.
Did you hear the whistle live? Because I did, and I was like, what the hell's going on?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Clearly heard the whistle.
Yeah. What are they doing? So the whole thing was nuts. Okay. There's no way. When it's 7-all, mid-third quarter, and the Patriots have really their only drive of the game, and they've got the ball down. Now, I got to admit, I thought the third down run, I thought he got the first down. I thought he was on top of a body, and he got the ball to the 7-yard line, and I thought it was a first down. But they spotted him like 6 inches short. Okay, and I'm being very serious here. What's the difference between 4th and 6 inches and 4th and a yard? And don't tell me 2.5 feet. I was screaming at the TV, kick the field goal. You might not need any more points. Take the field goal. Take the field goal.
Well, David, for the record, and I'm going to shock you right now, but I've been taking notes the past few games. I have my notes in front of me from the game. I thought the 4th and 1 was short.
Oh, my goodness. There's no way he got that spot. There's no way. I didn't think his helmet got to the spot. Never mind the ball. That's asinine. You can't defend that. I challenge them to defend that spot. Challenge them to defend it. Okay, first off, we have a chip in the ball. Why? Apparently, it doesn't come into play when we need it. Secondly, you took a look at that replay and you concluded he got to the spot to gain. Prove it.
I didn't think he got there live. I didn't think he got there with the replay. I have no idea how that was a first down.
He didn't get back to where that play started. Never mind, got 6 additional inches. No way. How in the world was that a first down? That's unbelievable. Does this league not care about how bad its officiating is looking? I mean, my goodness. You're asking us to watch something and not believe what we see. Not a rules interpretation.
And we watched because, I mean, the lowest rated game was 32 million from divisional play. When these numbers come out, they're going to be ginormous.
Yeah.
So we're watching. So a lot to dissect
Now, granted,
from that game in and of itself, and we haven't even begun to talk about the NFC game yet.
Now, granted, after the first quarter and a half, I mean, quite frankly, after they didn't get the 4th and 1, Stidham and the Broncos on offense were awful. They weren't going to score. They could still be playing. Denver wasn't going to score an additional point. Not unless New England literally gave them the ball. Said, here.
Which is amazing because, David, in the first half, Stidham played pretty well, other than the horrible play. But their receivers were getting separation from the New England corner. New England had zero separation. May didn't look good when guys were open. And Stidham, for the first half, looked like the much better quarterback. I know, the one play, just notwithstanding the most idiotic play of the football game, except for maybe Sean Payton going for it on 4th down. So New England somehow in the second half, well, in the third quarter, able to move the ball because obviously the wind became a gigantic factor and kickers not able to get footing to try to kick field goals.
Pat Kirwan was in Denver. Pat's travel has been all messed up like a lot of people's travel throughout the country. So Pat will join us later on in this show to talk about the conditions from a firsthand standing on the sidelines perspective. Miller and Moulton. On an overreaction Monday, the Super Bowl is set. It's Seattle and New England.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie, John, and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Honey, you want to come out? I haven't seen you since Glass Doctor installed our custom shower enclosure.
No thanks.
Well, you can't keep eating breakfast in the shower, and laminating your magazines is getting expensive. You remember we have guests coming over tonight, right?
Oh, I'm sure they'd love to see the shower.
It's our neighbors, and I highly doubt they want to be hanging out in our bathroom.
The shower is so good, you'll never want to leave. Visit glassdoctor.com today and schedule an appointment online.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Robes, you got the trash pandas up there? That's cool. I've seen some pictures, Robes. Sorry. Still what? Your guys' weather. I know. Michael, let it out. That's what the chat room's for. I think you win if he kicks a field goal. Because I don't know I don't know if Sean throws the ball up 10-0. I think Sean might have just gotten out of the half. Well, Left Twix, the one thing you got to understand, they'll lose at least half their officials if they do that. So they need to ask themselves, is it worth the transition period? I mean, some of these guys make a lot of money doing their full-time jobs. You got doctors, you got lawyers. They need a better replay situation. They need to be able to properly correct mistakes. That's the only reason to have replay, in my opinion. Yeah, I do think if Knicks played, they would have won. Yeah. Yes, the refs have the NFL negotiates with officials as a group. I don't think Jeff Rice is an umpire anymore. I thought he retired. I think it's Seckman, Rice, and Pertz, but that's the thing, Michael. You never know. Plus, this was a year when, no Mahomes, no Jackson, no Burrow. You get by Josh Allen, and you have no idea. You won all those close games this year, Michael, all those crazy comebacks.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. We're obviously going to get to the Rams and the Seahawks game. I do just want to make this comment, Mark. When you were watching the NFC Championship game, since you and I are old enough to remember this time frame, remember when the National League won like 13 All-Star games in a row? Remember when the NFC for 15 years was the dominant conference? When I was watching the Rams and the Seahawks, by the second quarter, I'm like, well, this is the Super Bowl.
It felt like it. It certainly did. Obviously, a lot can happen between now and 2 weeks from yesterday. But I think part of it, David, one is, look at Denver has an elite defense. New England played, it's never been done before in Super Bowl history of playing, or in the playoffs, of playing the level of defenses, like ranked wise, of what New England had to go through. But this just in, Seattle's defense is right there with the 3 that New England played, and the Rams had no problem moving the ball, despite the fact that I think Matt Stafford again had a average game. I mean, as good, above average game, but I mean, there was plays out there he missed all night. He was great in the fourth quarter again. Up till that point, he missed plays. I'm sorry.
I thought he was great in the second half. He might have missed some early, but they had almost 500 yards offense. That's not why they lost. We'll get into
They
that.
lost because they're dropping a punt.
Yeah, that hurt.
I mean, come on, you can't do that. I mean, just the way you can largely attribute both games to one play each. Stidham's play and the drop punt. You can't do that in a championship game. I know there's more to it than that, but if you want to get as simple as can be, to me, there's one play on each side. If you take that one play back, does that change the outcome?
Well, I think most of us think it definitely would have changed the outcome of the AFC Championship game. Don't know about the NFC title game because Seattle wasn't having trouble moving the ball either.
No, they were
not. We'll get to the NFC game in a moment. Can I just bring up something that I don't recall as a sports fan seeing or hearing this view, much if at all, up until the last 2-3 weeks? People are now really upset that we're having bad weather NFL playoff games to determine who plays in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row in which people taking to social media going, this is ridiculous that we got to play these important games in this weather. They would never play a Super Bowl in this. So why would they play the games leading up to the Super Bowl in this? I don't ever remember this being a thing. Is this a thing with you?
I have to admit, I didn't go to X. I didn't even write it in my notes. I'm just waiting for you to come through the screen and punch me in the mouth.
I don't know.
20 years we've been doing this. I've never talked about taking notes.
I was going to say, I don't know who I'm doing the show with, but you sound familiar. Continue.
But I thought it, David. And maybe it's because the college playoffs are all played, and now we're watching a college football playoff where games are played in warm weather climates, that I'm watching that second half of the AFC game going, if Denver had a dome, what would this game look like?
Well, wait a minute. I don't get it. I thought we're all complaining that the quarterfinals are held at neutral site places. Okay. And now we're complaining that the NFC and AFC championship games are being held outdoors. I mean, which is it? Which is it?
Well, first off, David, society is softer now. Period. End of sentence. It doesn't matter in what area you talk about. And in sports in particular. And the other thing, and I think because of whether it's and I know there's not fantasy football in the playoffs. I know there's some leagues, but no one really gets into it. I don't know if it's the fantasy football mentality of the fan now. We like offense. We've always liked offense more than defense. But, David, I would say in the 70s it was, 55-45, 60-40 at best. And then each decade, it became more where I actually believe it's 90-10 now.
It's unfair that this is how they determine who's going to play in the Super Bowl. It's football. It's the sport takes place in the fall and the winter. You mean to tell me we get winter-like conditions during the games and you have a
January,
problem with
January.
And you have a problem with it? Besides, isn't that supposed to be part of the well-earned home field advantage? I don't get it. How soft do we have to become? We want these games played in neutral sites? Seriously, you want these games played in a neutral site? You want them to look like the January 1st bowls? You want the NFC title game to be the Outback Bowl? Okay, you want the AFC title game to be the Citrus Bowl? What the hell is your problem? It's football. My good, and besides, you don't have to play in it. You have to be tough enough to sit on your couch and eat food while watching it. What is everybody's problem? And besides, Denver's going to have a dome in 5 years. Chicago's going to have a dome in 5 years. I mean, you're almost all getting what you want. It's going to be like Cleveland's getting a dome, for goodness sakes.
It really means if Buffalo or Green Bay host a game late in January, David. That's what it's down to.
Unbelievable. All this complaining about having to watch that AFC Championship game. I don't know. To me, it showed once again at the end of the day, Denver couldn't run the ball. They were not a good rushing team. If Bo Nix wasn't scrambling, Denver couldn't run. That was the difference. That was the difference. You could take all the play calling and decision making and crazy stuff, but at the end of the day, it came down to one of these two teams is going to have to run the ball, and New England found a way to run it, and Denver couldn't.
Well, and I mean, New England didn't run it all that well.
No, they didn't.
Their quarterback did.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for the quarterback, they don't win that football game. He was their offense.
Yeah, and he was terrible. Right?
Yeah.
And he was terrible.
Missed everybody all game. Now, there weren't many guys open, but when they were open, he couldn't hit them.
But this whole, I'm offended. It's disgusting. It's ridiculous that this is the weather that we're playing these games in to decide who plays for the Super Bowl. My goodness. We could all rattle off 10 legendary playoff games that were influenced by weather. We revere them. Revere them. Unbelievable.
David, we literally, I mean, if you think about it, and someone posted it on X, it's not the boomers, it's not Gen X. We have generations of children that didn't know how to go outside and play a game. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I'll never forget having a birthday party for my son who was 6, 7, 8 at the time. They did not know how to organize a pickup baseball game. It took me and one of the moms saying, this is how you do it. Where we are generations, we were told to go outside and play. They don't know how. Sorry if I'm old man on the porch. Prove me wrong.
Well, now they don't even want to watch it. Man, my goodness. And I can't believe it wasn't brought up yesterday, but when they were talking about how bad the conditions were, all right, and Nance only mentioned the person's name at the very end because he was going to come out and present the conference championship trophy. But when you were watching those kickers struggle mightily to make kicks when the weather turned bad, doesn't it make the Vinatieri kick even more legendary?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they couldn't get their footing. They made the one kick, but the Denver kicker wasn't close.
Yeah, but the one kick was 25 yards.
Right.
Man, any field goal over 25 yards was missed or not attempted in that game. I had to get that off my chest. Everybody complaining about the weather. It's football. Honestly, watch something else. Please, don't ruin our game. Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe. And American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Well, Jay Gunn, if you're talking to me, I don't raise my kids that way. So maybe our generation raised their kids that way. But see, I didn't raise my kids that way. I raised my kids to go outside, to play. I was incensed with my 7-8-year-old son that he didn't know how to play a pickup game. And from that point forward, you know what he knew how to do? Play a pickup game. Apparently, Oxford, Mississippi got blanked up.
Okay.
Just with the weather. Like, there's no power. They got it kind of rough.
Apparently Nashville got messed up too. Well, Adam, you can only do that really once a season. So that's calculated. Now, them losing at home to Auburn, though, man, I could see him being honked off.
I only can think of one time that really happened and backfired horribly. It's when Rich Rod decided to take the winged helmet logo off the Michigan guys at practice. And, well, we all know how that worked out.
Yeah. I don't even know if a Michigan man can get away with that, but certainly he couldn't.
Correct.
DC, there's debate. I think it's 4. Some people in the industry think it's 5. But he signed a 3-year deal with CBS, 17, 18, 19. I thought that he was going to be a free agent, but CBS had an exclusive negotiating window, and they signed him during it right before the pandemic hit. So that was February of 20. So I think he just finished his 6th year of a 10-year contract. I don't think he still had a year left because ESPN was waiting. They were waiting for that exclusive window to expire, and ESPN was backing up the truck. And supposedly CBS matched what the ESPN offer was going to be.
I didn't think he was nearly as bad the last 2 games as he had been in the regular season. I know the bar is set really low, but he didn't drive me as nuts yesterday as he normally does. There wasn't squeaks and loud noises for no apparent reason.
Yeah, he did me. I turned the game off for an hour and went to closed captioning. An hour in the first half.
I will say Brady's gotten good. It's not the best broadcast, but he's he's so much better than he was his first year. Look at from a quarterback, tell me why things happen from your perspective, and he's doing that. That's his job.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan, his week is totally messed up because remember, he goes from the conference championship games to the Senior Bowl in Mobile. Yeah, that's not going to happen with all the weather out there and the flights. He's stuck in Denver till at least tomorrow. So we're going to wake Pat up in about an hour and 20 minutes. He was on the sidelines in Denver. He can tell us how good or bad or the weather was, etc. So we'll talk with Pat Kirwan, 8 a.m. Eastern on Miller and Moulton. Coming up at the top of the hour, there were 2 Seans who coached yesterday. They both lost. The one is getting criticized for his decisions. I don't think the other one had a good day either. We'll get to that coming up. But right now it's time for...
Oh, wrong. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
The starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know. Here is the starting 5.
Brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Always good when I use the right mouse. There are 3 of them here. I tried to click the button for computer 2 with mouse 1. That didn't work.
Between, your burner phones, okay, your computers, your mouses.
My burner phones?
I'm just having some fun.
My burner phones, yes. Hashtag Mark Miller's ally.
We'll start with the NFL, and congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. They won the Super Bowl yesterday. That's how it felt watching the game. Felt like the varsity and the junior varsity. Seattle won the varsity game 31-27. Sam Darnold was terrific. Good for him. 346 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. The Rams, Matthew Stafford, he was magnificent. 374 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the Rams got inside the 10 late. They had 2nd and 5 at the 7, 3rd and 4 at the 6, 4th and 4 at the 6. They went for it on all 3 plays. They didn't make it. And Seattle, for all intents and purposes, ran out the clock from there. It's the Seahawks' 4th appearance in the Super Bowl. They'll go for their 2nd title. Seattle 31 and the Rams 27.
Fun fact that I saw this morning early. Every time that we've elected a new pope, or I guess the last 3, the Seahawks have gone to the Super Bowl. Who knew? Because the Pacific Northwest and Catholicism don't really jive with one another.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, how about that?
Now, does Seattle win when they elect a new?
Not necessarily.
Oh. By the way, how many times are we going to see the Malcolm Butler play over the next 13 days? Because Seattle will play New England in the Super Bowl. The Patriots had 206 yards offense. Drake May, 86 yards passing, but 65 yards rushing and a touchdown. And it turned out he ad-libbed their final significant offensive play of the game. The naked bootleg, yeah, he decided to do that on his own. Wasn't the play from McDaniels, didn't tell anybody in the huddle. He just did it on his own.
Which is amazing, David, because, again, in my notes, and my wife heard me, I am screaming, run the ball with the quarterback. You've got to run it here. Do not throw the football.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know what Romo was talking about throwing a pass there.
Are you nuts?
I mean, take the 45 seconds. He could have taken a knee. I wouldn't have cared. Denver scored an early touchdown, and after that, they didn't do much. 181 yards of offense, 2 turnovers, the difference. Stidham had an interception and the colossal fumble, brain fart, whatever it was. Denver, as we all know, was up 7-0, 6 minutes to go, second quarter. Passed up a 32-yard field goal on 4th and 1. Didn't make it. Hardly seriously threatened to score after that. They lined up for a 54-yard field goal, missed it. Lined up for a 46-yard field goal, which was deflected. That kick might have been good, but it was deflected and it didn't make it. This is the 12th Super Bowl appearance for the Patriots. It's the 11th under the ownership of Robert Kraft. All 11 Super Bowl appearances by the Patriots have happened since the last time Jerry Jones and the Cowboys made the Super Bowl. Jerry Jones got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Robert Kraft is still waiting. Seriously? I mean, if you're going to put owners in, what more does he have to do to get in?
And by the way, don't give me the whole massage place, because let's look up Jera's history, okay? And besides, what happens outside of football isn't supposed to count for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
So the early Super Bowl 60 line, I'm surprised it's this low. I thought it was going to be in the 6.5 range. Mark, I've got it at 4.5.
That's correct.
Seattle by 4.5 over New England with an over-under of 46.5. I mean, that's 25-21. Seattle. We all know when the game is. It's in 2 Sundays. It's on NBC at 6:30. My guess is it'll kick off a little later than that. Mike Tirico will get to call his first Super Bowl. Other NFL news. Steelers hired Mike McCarthy to be their 4th coach since Nixon became president in 1969. The 62-year-old's coached 18 seasons between the Cowboys and Packers. He won 185 games and a Super Bowl. And apparently he's a bum. And everybody in Pittsburgh hates the hire more than they wanted Tomlin to resign. Unbelievable. Former Arizona head coach Jonathan Gannon going to be the new defensive coordinator in Green Bay. Dolphins promote Bobby Slowick to offensive coordinator. He was on their staff this past year. He was the Texans' OC the first 2 years for C.J. Stroud. He got fired in a power struggle. So we'll see who Bobby Slowick is going to work with in Miami. By the way, the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, Denard Wilson, he's going to be the new DC for John Harbaugh and the Giants. Pittsburgh's former offensive coordinator, okay, he's that
Smith.
Arthur Smith guy.
Yeah.
He's now going to be the offensive coordinator at Ohio State.
Good luck, Buckeyes.
So let me get this straight. This is a guy who likes to run the ball and likes to use his tight ends. And he's going to have one of the top 5 quarterbacks returning in the game and probably the number 1 wide receiving core in the game.
Yeah, with the best receiver, and it ain't close. Like a generational talent at wide receiver.
He better use them. That's all. Of course, if the kid was mine, he'd be working out at Bradenton all year and he'd never see the field because he doesn't have anything else to prove. And oh, by the way, the Friday deadline came and went. The college football playoff will remain 12 teams in the 2026 season. Sankey in the SEC wanted 16. Petiti in the Big Ten said, we'll give you 16 if you agree right now that at the end of the decade we go to 24. And Sankey wouldn't do it. So then Petiti wouldn't give him his 16. 7 games in the NBA. Heat beat the shorthanded Suns 111-102. Bam Adebayo led 7 in double figures with 22. The Pistons have the best record in the East. They're winning 75% of their games. They're 33-11. They beat Sacramento by 23. T-Wolves have lost 5 in a row. Golden State won in Minneapolis by 26. Look out for the Raptors.
Yeah, they've been playing really well. And what did they do? They beat OKC yesterday. Wow.
In OKC for their 4th straight win, 103-101. I think they have the second best record in the East. And they're reportedly going to be active at the trade deadline. New Orleans went into San Antonio, beat the Spurs. Zion with 24-10. Pelicans 104-95. And the Clippers led by 38 in the second quarter on their way to a 37-point win against Brooklyn. Clippers, who were dreadful, are just 3 games below 500, trying to claw their way back in the West. 6 games in the NHL. Panthers got 4 in the third to beat Chicago 5-1. They had a guy on their team. This is his 7th year in the NHL. His name is Thomas Bionfat. He had scored 1 goal in 6+ years. He scored 2 in the third period yesterday. How about that?
Hey, that's a big third period and a big win for the Panthers. That division is playing unbelievable hockey right now, and they are 6th in the division, David.
Right.
Now, the 2 wild cards are 4 and 5, so they're only 3 points out of a wild card spot, but still, the way that division and the way the East is getting points, every 2 points for the Panthers big.
5-1 Florida over Chicago. 4-1 Colorado over Toronto. Brock Nelson with a hat trick for the Avs. Penguins scored 3 in the second, beat the Canucks 3-2. Ottawa scored 3 in the second and 3 in the third. They beat Vegas 7-1. The Kraken scored 2 goals 18 seconds apart, and no one in Seattle cared or noticed. Seattle beat New Jersey 4-2. And Anaheim in overtime 4-3 over Calgary. Scotty Scheffler, he played this weekend. You're not going to guess. He won.
Going away, doubling the 17th hole, and still won by what?
4.
4. Okay.
He won the American Express at La Quinta by 4, firing a final round 66. He was tied entering the final round with 18-year-old Blades Brown. And the moment finally got to the 18-year-old, he shot a 2 over 74. He finished T18. He still made $118,000. Kid's a pro. Kid played the Korn Ferry event leading into this event.
That got him into the event. He graduated high school a couple of weeks ago. He graduated early to start his professional golf career. Oh, by the way, on Friday, he fired a 60 on a course he'd really never seen before and certainly hadn't played.
And
had a hell of a chance for 59. He really did. He had the second putt on the same line as the guy before him, not more than 8 feet. He rushed it a little bit and missed it. But boy, oh boy, what a start for this young man. Fun fact, his mother made the first ever 3-pointer in WNBA history.
Wow. That is a hell of a factoid. That's like, I think Sam Darnold's grandfather or uncle was one of the Marlboro men. We're going to hear a lot about that over the next 13 days, you know. And one other golf note, Patrick Reed, remember him? Well, he played on the DP World Tour event this week in Dubai, and he won the Desert Classic by 4. And he said before the event, I'm playing and I'm going to take all the money that I earn and pay all my fines so that I can continue to play on the DP World Tour. He also let everybody know, by the way, he's technically a free agent. He does not have a contract right now with LIV. The LIV season starts in 3 weeks. He's technically a free agent. Huh.
I'm sorry. This I'd let him back on the tour. I'd offer the olive branch every year to Rahm and to Smith and to a few others. You have a chance to break them right now if you're the PGA Tour.
Tennis, Australian Open. Women's side, the 2-seed Swiatek and Americans Pegula and Anisimova all advanced to the quarters. On the men's side, American Taylor Fritz ousted in the 4th round. 2nd seed Sinner and Djokovic advanced to the quarters. Djokovic got a walkover. It's nice when you're 38 years old and you can win without playing. He doesn't play till Wednesday in the quarters.
Which I think that walkover translated as a win, and he's now passed Federer for the most Australian Open wins.
Yeah, he's pretty good. And it's 7 minutes before the hour. That was the starting 5. 5 big stories you need to know, brought to you by Lee County, Florida. Building a better community through BST, business, sports, and tourism.
See what happens? I do the starting 5 a couple days in a row with you gone, and I'm chiming in more than I had in 2 months.
2 months, 2 years.
Fair enough.
You're taking notes while watching games, and you're chiming in on the starting 5. Who the hell are you?
Spring training is a big win for Lee County. Beginning next month, we will proudly host the Boston Red Sox and Minnesota Twins right here in Southwest Florida. It's more than great baseball. It's jobs, visitors, and $69 million in tourism impact for our local economy. Get your tickets at redsox.com and twins.com. Be part of something that strengthens our community. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
For 22 years, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We're your neighbors at the Diamond District.
From custom design and expert repairs to gold buying, appraisals, and spa treatments for your jewelry, we do it all right here in the store.
Whether you're creating something new or bringing new life to a family heirloom,
our team handles every piece with care, craft, and experience.
22 years of dedicated service only at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
This is Miller and Moulton.
I don't know how many people paid attention on Saturday. Saturday was an amazing day of college basketball. And let me tell you, this draft's going to be loaded. Loaded. You have a top 5 pick in this draft and you don't get a great player, it's because you screwed up.
Hey, does New Orleans have a top 5?
No, that's Atlanta. That's okay. I think there's a chance for the Knicks to get a top 8 pick, depending on the Wizards. Which they'd probably then use to trade for Giannis, but
So, David, I had a fun fact, and that today was a day when I think it was Friday. Ann Landers did a column based on a survey. I think that, I don't know if she sent out hers, but 10,000 parents in like 76 were asked if they'd be parents again. And like 70% of them thought negatively about parents. So if you wonder why we were all kicked out of the house and told to go play, and they ran ads that said it's 10 o'clock, do you know where your children are?
it's because they didn't want us. That's fantastic.
I do love it because I didn't have, Trent said, you need me Friday. And because we had Samson, I figured, one segment in the end, I didn't need him. But my favorite thing to do with Trent when I do today was the day when I get to the birthday part, is I stop after every one and see if he knows who the person was.
Sonny, first off, Cam Boozer's kid at this stage of development is better than Cam Boozer.
Did he play in the city of Palms, by the way? I thought he did.
I thought he did too. So you got the kid from Kansas, you got the kid from Illinois, you got the kid from BYU. You got
BYU's good.
By the way, tonight, Arizona at BYU. Tonight. You want to treat yourself? Okay, something a little different. 9:00 Eastern tonight on the 4-Letter Network.
Let's do a little of that in the segment two. We'll do NFC here. We need a poll question.
Yeah, we'll get to hoops, but I'm just saying.
No, because our system just took a bath, David.
Yes.
We're under 500 now.
We went 0-6 on Saturday.
Yeah. We went from 5 up to 1 down. My thought on a poll question, we've only got like 45 seconds, is because of the missed 4th down, do you think coaches will be different next year in terms of going for it on 4th down? Not what we think. Do you think it will actually change? That's my, if you got something else, I'm good.
Okay. I like it.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour 2 of Miller and Moulton on this overreaction Monday. The Super Bowl is set. Super Bowl 60. We have seen this one before. Seattle and New England. No Tom Brady, no Malcolm Butler. But we'll see how it turns out anyway. We can only hope that this one is as entertaining as that one ended up being. Seattle, a 4.5-point favorite in the Super Bowl. My guess is it'll go up slightly. It'll get in the 5 to 5.5 range when all is said and done. But Mike Tirico, Collinsworth, and NBC has the game in Santa Clara where the Niners play. Super Bowl 60. That's coming up in 13 days. We gave Sean Payton a rough time of it in our first hour for some of the decisions, and the one huge one that he made, which backfired, and they're still looking for that field goal in Denver. Mark, can we talk about the other Sean?
Sure.
So I say we pick it up late first half. Rams are up 13-10. They get their second stop in a row. The last 2 times the Rams had the ball, they had scored a field goal and a touchdown. That's important to know. You need to take it all into consideration. So the Rams have a 3-point lead. They've scored 10 points the last 2 times they've had the ball. Seattle is getting the second half kickoff. The Rams have 1st and 10 at their own 28 with about 1:35 to go in the half. They run the ball to Kirwan Williams, 5-yard gain. 2nd and 5 at their own 33. Seattle's only got 1 timeout. So if the Rams want to, they can run the ball and basically get out of the half. But they're at the 33. They're about 30-ish yards away from a score, and they know they're going to need points to win this game. Do you, and did you, Mark, at the time, have trouble with them throwing the ball on 2nd and 5?
I didn't.
I didn't either.
I really didn't, David. I thought because of what you just said, Seattle's getting the ball to start the half. I thought that it was a great opportunity to get points at that moment.
Now, they snapped the ball with 1:09 to go in the half on 2nd down. Incomplete. And now Brady points out, this is a big play here. This is the difference between getting out of the half or not. You don't get out of the half here, Seattle could turn it around on you. 3rd down, incomplete. So now there's a minute to go in the half. The Rams are punting, and the Rams punter didn't have the best of days. He had a okay punt. And next thing you know, there's Seattle taking over with about 55 seconds to go. And they're about 35 yards away from field goal range, and they've got a timeout. And their offense, which had been stopped 2 possessions in a row, they find JSN. Deep down the middle, then he hits an out, and then Darnold, under heavy pressure, makes a great throw to the back left corner of the end zone. And just like that, Mark, it's 17-13 at the half. Rams fail to get out of the half, and McVay's play calling comes into question. As it was happening, did you question it?
No, I didn't question the play call, and I had a bigger problem with the defensive backfield for the Rams that stunk all night. Their defensive backs were lousy in that game. There was separation throughout, not just Smith and Jigba. There were other players getting open. I thought the defensive backfield, I thought the Rams defense was bad. Kenneth Walker didn't get a ton of yards in the game, but he had important yards, David. They missed a ton of tackles. They ended up with 62 rushing and so he had over 100 yards combined because he had some catches as well. But they did a poor job of tackling him. There were several times that they had Walker lined up behind the line of scrimmage, and he'd get 5. He'd get 3. I think one time he got 8. So their tackling was poor, and sometimes it was D-backs on screen passes that also missed tackles. I thought their defensive backfield gave separation to the receivers. Darnold played terrifically. He hit the guys. But just that 3 plays prior, the rookie for Seattle that's up for the MVP, I want to know, whatever. Anyhow, he made 2 terrific plays. No one in the Rams defensive backfield was making good plays. Seattle's did, the Rams didn't.
I also thought that the Rams defensive front wasn't getting to Darnold. And if you really look back, their big 2 defensive linemen went the whole playoffs without a sack.
And it was something, David, on the 2 days you were gone that I pointed out. The teams were equal in sacks on the year, The Rams blitz less than just about anybody in the league. I think they were second in blitz rate. So they rely on their front four. That's the way they play defense. Their front four never got there.
So now it's 17-13. Then obviously we all know the muff punt, gave them 7, and that was going to be tough to overcome. But Rams get the ball, go right down the field in the third quarter. They score 24-19, mid-third quarter. Did you want them to go for 2, yes or no? I didn't.
No. David, I've never been one to chase points before the fourth quarter. I don't believe in it.
Okay, so they kick the extra point. It's 24-20. There's like 9 minutes to go in the third quarter. Are we all okay with that? We're okay with there's enough time left. It was okay to kick the extra point. All right. Seattle goes down the field, scores 31-20. Rams come back, get the controversial taunting penalty.
Horrible call. Come on. I was rooting for the Rams. I like Stafford. I picked the Rams. That taunting call was awful. If you're going to call that, then after the sack, the next series when the player flexes, basically on top of Sam Darnold, well, then you call that. Come on now. Stop it.
Well, obviously, we didn't know what was said. We do know that he'd been warned on the same sequence. The official said he warned him 3 times and that he still wouldn't leave the sidelines and still kept yapping. Okay. There were people on the sideline, not associated with the Rams, on media who said, they said, hey, the official gave him a lot of rope, but that he hung himself. Okay, whatever. But yes, obviously, we've never seen a call like that in that spot. Huge break for the Rams. Next play, touchdown. Okay, it's 31-26. There's a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. And Mark, you and I are of the same belief. We don't chase points till the fourth quarter. We're 3 plays away from the fourth quarter. Did you think about, if I go for 2 here, I make it a 3-point game?
I didn't. I really didn't, David. Maybe I should have, but I didn't.
I did. I still would have kicked the extra point because I still thought we had at least one more touchdown in us. I've just scored touchdowns on back-to-back drives. I've scored on like 4 of 7 possessions. I'm thinking
the other side of it is you don't get it, and it's 29-34.
Well, now it would have been right, 31-26, the same separation. Yes.
But the 7 gets you what? 33. Now you have to go for 2 to get up by a field goal. So it's not something I do. I don't believe in it. I understand where the analytics people are. I just disagree.
Well, right, because if you go for 2 and miss it, you're down 5, and if Seattle kicks a field goal, now you're down 8, as opposed to being down 7. And obviously that makes it more difficult to tie, never mind win. So then the fourth quarter plays itself out. The Rams get a stop. They hadn't got one of those in the second half. They get a stop. They take over at their own 7. They drive it all the way down. They make a 4th down conversion. I got to admit, it was 4th and short, but I thought about kicking the field goal. There were 7 minutes to go in the game. They're down 4. It was 4th and a yard and a half. I thought about kicking the field goal. Okay.
And because then if they do score a touchdown, yes, you can tie it with a 2-point conversion, but you can win with another field goal.
Okay. So I'm just curious. Did you at all, 7.5 minutes to go, 4th and a yard and a half? That's when Stafford on the broken play scrambled for the first down. Did you think at all about the field goal?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. I guess because I was convinced McVay was going for it.
Okay.
Before, on 3rd down, I thought they were going for it. If you know what I mean. I just, in my head, that was 2 plays to get a first down time.
So they get the first down. They get another first down. They've got 1st and 10 on the 12. We're under 6 minutes to go. He throws a 5-yard pass out of the backfield to Nakua. 2nd and 5 at the 7. They run Kirwan Williams. He gets a half a yard. 3rd and a long 4 just outside the 6. Incomplete. 5 minutes to go in the game. 31-27. 4th and a long 4. Did you think about the field goal? Because I would have kicked it.
I thought about it. I wouldn't have kicked it. I guess looking at those two plays and where I was, David, I know Matthew Stafford's not a runner. On both third and fourth down, he looked like he had enough lane to get the first down. He really did. I know he's not fast. If he would have ran on both of those plays, he's in the end zone. I'm sorry.
So obviously, 4th and 4, incomplete, back in the end zone. Seattle takes over, 4-point lead. So we've had McVay had a chance to go for 2 at 31-20. All right. He had a chance to go for 2 at 31, or excuse me. No. He had a chance to go for 2 at 31-26. He had a chance to kick a field goal at 31-27 mid-fourth. He had a chance to kick a field goal 31-27, 5 minutes to go. Just curious, how many of you at any point in time would have either gone for the 2 or attempted the field goal? I would not have gone for 2. I would have attempted both field goals.
And it leads us to our poll question today. Because of the missed fourth down tries in the postseason, not just yesterday, but throughout the postseason, divisional round, the teams that had bad fourth downs lost all of those games. Do you think that teams will take the points in the 2026 season? Two choices, yes, or at least I hope so. No, analytics win out. Miller_Moulton on X, soon to be that Mark Miller, and the David Moulton on X. If you are not an X subscriber, you can text the show. The Pelican Roofing of Florida text line is always open. 21,000 is the number. 21,000. If you've never texted the show, text the keyword Miller to 21,000, then let it rip. American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow & Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow & Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow & Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So, David, you'll laugh. On Friday, I effed up, and there's a button so that I hear the station as opposed to where we are right now, where I'm in audition, and you and I can talk. And I didn't hit that button at the start of the show, but I can still hear me, and I can hear the music and all of those things. Well, they didn't have the computer set right, so the other show was playing. So for 5 minutes, I'm talking over the other show until finally, because I'm not paying attention to the text line, and nobody in the chat room's listening to the radio. So finally, a buddy of mine texts me 5 minutes in and lets me know, and I'm like, oh, crap. And I'm like, and I had a good start, too. Really? I thought I was on a roll there. Just set me back.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's my fault. I got a bunch of texts to get to, David, when we come back.
Good.
Far and away my best how the heck are you that I've had in the history of doing how the heck are you. I leaned into it. I normally am apprehensive of doing it because I don't think I do it nearly as well as David, but I leaned into that one. No cracking, pretty good tone. I have two non-NFL things that we can get to tomorrow. But like one is, I mean, like you mentioned, college basketball on Saturday on our system. And the other one is at some point, can we talk some Dabo?
Oh.
I can't find the only clip I find is the whole thing. If you, again, any clip on X, any audio on X that you send me, I can play. And I can get it done pretty quickly. Like I can get it done in a commercial break.
Okay.
The best thing to do on that would be to DM me on X because it just makes my life easier. You know what I'm saying? DM me the tweet, rather, I should say. Because then I can get right to it, and it's pretty easy. By the way, Lee said if you need him at any time, to help out for a segment or two while I'm gone, he offered it.
Oh, yeah. No, I got a lot of people offering.
Yeah. Lee was great. Had him on for 2 segments. He was great.
Good.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan, we will wake him up in the mountain time zone of Denver in about 40 minutes because he's stuck there. He can't
Was he supposed to get out last night?
I think this morning and get to Mobile for the Senior Bowl sometime today. So my understanding is he's stuck in Denver till tomorrow. I don't know if you saw the post-game clip from Vrabel and the Patriots. He just told the team bus, no curfew, team bus leaves at 8 a.m. tomorrow. If you're not on the bus, you won't play in the game. So the Patriots aren't flying back till today either. So, but Pat Kirwan from Denver, he was there on the sideline. I saw him walking around. We'll ask
Did
about
you? I usually look and I didn't. I obviously was paying pretty close attention to the game.
Yep. I saw a glance. They just kind of he was back behind the set and a little to the right. They gave one of those shots, coming up at halftime, and they had the guys who were kind of on the set getting ready, and Pat was kind of lingering in the back and just beginning to walk away from the set because play was about to resume, and he was about to check out the action. And I said, there's that winter jacket. There's that hair. There's that fluffy mustache.
Great hair.
Yeah.
Great.
Excellent hair.
Pat has great hair.
Yep. So we've been talking for a while. I got a figure coming out of the NFC and AFC championship game. There's a few people on the text line, got a few things to say.
Pelican Roofing of Florida text line, 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted the show before, you need to text a keyword. That keyword is Miller, and then text whatever you would like. A lot of people, David, on your side. The snow is what kept me watching the AFC playoff game. Otherwise, it was a snooze fest. A 30-year-old millennial, he take it on that I took on his generation and Gen Z and the Gen Alpha. They're not even old enough to watch football yet. Totally agree. Home field advantage. Love the snow games. This is an interesting take, and I didn't see this, so if it's true, thank you for the text. But someone pointed out, and you did point out in the starting five there, that the kick was tipped, one of them. But the Denver kicker said after the game he believes they lined up a yard short on the tip kick because they couldn't see any lines on the field.
Huh.
I mean, step it off. Haven't you ever played golf before? Come on. We were able to do this before. Let's see. Damn the analytics based on our poll question. This isn't Moneyball. And maybe yesterday will just make it so that people stop thinking of Sean Payton as this coaching god. Awful decision to go for it.
Well, it's a terrible decision. He's a great coach. I mean, New Orleans had never won before him. They'd hardly won after him. Okay. And he turned around Denver and he had to do it saddled with a quarterback signing that he had nothing to do with. And he had final say on personnel. I mean, you got to give him his due. Now, his arrogance cost him yesterday. And we could all, for those of us that know how arrogant he is, we could all see it coming too. But it cost him yesterday. How you could be arrogant with Jarrett Stidham as your quarterback is, I mean, it literally should have been at the top of his, plays, not today.
Yeah, when in doubt, take the points. But this person says, other than ego, why didn't Sean Payton go full Wildcat at the end of the game? They couldn't run the ball. They could not run the football in that game. They couldn't run it all year.
No. And it's something they have to improve upon. And
Dobbins was out for a lot of the year, and that's who they expected to be their runner. But Harvey's long run was 9. Stidham's long run, the one rush, was 8. That's it. That's it.
Yep. Patriots were, for the most part, conservative defensively. They were going to have a lot of bodies and make them, go the long way. Now, they got burned early. They got man coverage. When the weather conditions were good, the one receiver ran right by Gonzalez. Gonzalez thought he had safety help. He didn't. Oh, boy. That's a problem.
79 yards rushing for the game for Denver. 26 of them were by the quarterback. So you can't really, at least to me, look at it and say, why didn't he go Wildcat? Because they couldn't run the football.
Now, another thing that I would want to get into, I didn't watch the pregame. I don't know how many of you did. I did watch a little bit of Weather Channel yesterday. I didn't hear in the early parts of the broadcast Nance, Romo, Wolfson, anybody tell us the bad weather was coming. Okay. So, but I'm saying I didn't watch the pregame. I had the sound on for most of the first quarter. Romo drove me bat blank nuts. I had to turn it off. Now, I kept the game on, but I just had to go with closed captioning, okay, until the Stidham play. then I had to turn the volume back up again. Well, no, actually, the 4th and 1, I had to turn the volume up and go, what are we doing here? All right. But so you got to tell me, was there any talk from anyone, any pregame show, ESPN, anybody? Did anybody say anything at any point in time that there was bad weather coming? Because that makes the decision to not take the points look worse.
Now, I've heard this morning that people say they knew it was coming. I did hear that this morning. David, like you, we don't do post games or pre-games. We just don't. David's a post-game guy. I didn't do a lot of post-game yesterday simply because I did time out the day right, David. Put dinner on at 2 with a specific intention of eating right between games. And fortunately, no overtime, nothing happened where all of my eating worked perfectly through the day.
Well
Just some jalapeno poppers before the game, some chips and dip during game 1, dinner, and then ice cream. I had a full day of eating, and it was wonderful.
So in our Twitch chat room, Yinzer is saying Nance right before kickoff mentioned, and Spitz said he mentioned that flurries were on the way in the second half. Yeah, that was a lot more than flurries, obviously. And also, it didn't happen, at the beginning of the second half. I will give CBS credit for one thing they did yesterday. They gave us the time capsule. What it looked like first play of the game, what it looked like first play of the second quarter, what it looked like first play of the second half. Okay, and then they pick up the drive where all of a sudden you start to see, oh, yeah, it's snowing. Oh, yeah, it's sticking. Okay, but it was like mid-third quarter. It was during that 7+ minute Patriot drive where they got their 3 points. That's when the weather began to become, oh, wow, we got weather here.
And I will say, Nance did a great job, and Romo to a lesser extent, but did a great job of pointing out in the third quarter how the wind was helping the Patriots on that drive, and they would have to go into the wind in the fourth quarter. And it affected the Patriot punts in the fourth quarter. Denver got the ball with good field position throughout the fourth quarter. Couldn't do a damn thing with it.
Couldn't do a damn thing with it. I feel badly for Denver. I do. I mean, because, listen, there's no guarantee. They had how many wild, crazy comeback wins this year? And I know Bo Nix in his second year, and they got room under the cap and this, that, and the other thing. Come on now. We all said it 3 weeks ago. You looked at the playoff lineup and you went, come on, no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Burrow. This team injured, this team, even Superman's not healthy in Buffalo. This was the year. I mean, this was the year. That of Jacksonville and New England. I mean, come on, New England won 4 games 2 years in a row.
And benefited greatly from an incredibly easy schedule during the regular season. But then went on in the playoffs to play 3 of the top 6 defenses in the league and beat them all.
But this was the year. I mean, we've just seen Indiana's had their moment. Now it's New England in the Super Bowl, for goodness sakes, coming off a 4-13 season. I mean, these are moments in time. You don't know when you're going to get them again. And I feel badly for Denver. Bo Nix getting hurt. That could be their moment that we look back on 10 years from now.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, celebrating 30 years in Naples, is proud to be the exclusive Farrow and Ball dealer in Southwest Florida. The best thing to come from the UK since the Beatles, Farrow and Ball has the colors and paints at American Paint Supplies. See why all the designers and painters choose Farrow and Ball. For 30 years, American Paint Supplies provides the perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs.
Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit LeeCountyBusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Hey, David.
Uh-huh.
If you can remember back this far, but when Raj ran the board, I know there were some audio problems. Could you hear the commercials? Okay, I
No.
think I know why. All right, that's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
I'm positive that the PC, the settings for StreamYard are just set up to the microphone that's on the computer as opposed to the board. If that's the case, it's a really easy fix. So
Yeah.
I have him coming in one day this week to take a look at it.
Who's got Friday? Is it Rick or Raj? Because whoever's got Friday's got next week.
I think it's Rick.
I thought so too.
That's why I wanted him to. Either way, once I fix it, it's fixed. Because there's no problem with Rick, right?
No, I mean, sometimes he just, because there's so many buttons to push, he just forgets to push a button down. But no. My question is, when's the switch happening? Because
We don't know. March 1st is the last I heard on Friday from Chris. They
'Cause
pushed
that's-
it back another month.
because that's the only thing that I'm wondering, at what point during this are they going to get moved to that studio, and are they, equipped to work it?
It's a great question. Do you want to call whoever the contact is or schedule a call for you and I and that person this week, if at all possible? Over there, just so that.
Yeah, I'll reach out. Because I'm sure it won't take either guy. In fact, I'll bet they'll be thrilled to work with a modern board.
Exactly. It's just a matter of our equipment getting taken over. That's
Right.
my only situation.
No, Governor, I didn't feel that way at all. I just felt that Brady was taking a page, quite frankly, out of Aikman, in which, there are things quarterbacks have to do on plays, and there was a blitz in particular that he felt Darnold had to make sure that he got out of the pocket.
And I thought other than that, I thought he was pretty complimentary of, his ability to run to his left and still throw the ball, how hard that is for most guys.
No, he was a very awkward, uncomfortable listen last year. And I felt that the second half of this year that he settled in on whatever his style is going to be. He settled in on what it is he wants to talk about.
There's a really good piece in The Athletic about it.
You know, my mom's taking the train down this week. She gets on the train Wednesday afternoon. She gets here Tuesday morning or Thursday morning. Sorry.
If she left Wednesday and got there Tuesday morning, it's either a long train ride or we've developed time travel.
I was going to say.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Pat Kirwan to join us at the top of the hour. He's stranded in Denver. So we said, do you mind if we wake you up? Besides, it's 8 a.m. Eastern. You're used to getting up at 5:30 Eastern, but, you know, maybe the mountain time zone, he might sleep in just a touch later. But my guess is he's up. He's already had coffee and
went from playing golf on. He did the show basically from the driving range on Friday, David.
Nice.
And 2 different times, he's like, hang on a second. No, I'll be there in 5 minutes. Like literally finished the segment and went to the first tee.
I'll be doing the show coming up in 22 minutes from a 5-star hotel in Denver. All right. But he ain't getting home till tomorrow. And he ain't getting home actually for 2 more weeks. But that's a whole other story because it's always Senior Bowl, Super Bowl for Pat. And then he gets home. But Pat Kirwan, who's on the sidelines in Denver, we can talk about the changing weather conditions, the decisions in that game. And, well, it was a dramatic NFL playoffs. You got to give the NFL that. Controversial coaching decisions, controversial officiating decisions. You know, I don't know why they don't take their time and show us and explain to us. All right, this is a TV show. We all now know it's a TV show. Miller and Moulton were right. It's a TV show. So take the time to show us the really important stuff that's going on.
In that regard, David, I have a question for you. I think I know your answer. I know what mine is, even though I'm the one asking the question. Sometimes it takes a TV show that isn't in the mainstream to change the way that television is done. You know, we've talked about whether it was the AAFL that you worked in or the XFL. There have been certain things that have been done that upon further review, Park Avenue said, you know, that's not a bad idea. And while it may not be the best football out there and barely got a team into the college football playoff, I would argue that the best TV show from a behind-the-scenes standpoint comes in the AAC, or the ACC rather, because they, this year, decided to take us behind the curtain. And when they have replay decisions, we have been privy to the conversation inside the replay booth. I watched a few games this year. I thought it was riveting. I thought it was amazing. I loved everything about it. Now, I don't think a change like that will happen within a year for the NFL. Do you think that there's any shot of the Big Ten or the SEC, and particularly the SEC, David, for this reason? Who owns the ACC? ESPN. Who owns the SEC? ESPN. Do you think the ESPN people will put any pressure at all on the SEC to allow us inside the replay decisions? And therefore, in a year or two, if the SEC is doing it, well, then the Big Ten might. And if the SEC and the Big Ten are doing it, the biggest television show on the football stage could possibly begin. Do you think there is any shot that, I don't know, by the end of the decade, that we're inside the booth, the replay booth for decisions?
I think there's a chance we're inside the replay booth in college football for the playoff games only, because it's a TV show and the games have more importance. I do not think that those two major leagues are going to allow for it to happen during their regular season games. I don't, because I also think they want to have their best people put forward, Mark. You know, their best officials on the game, their best replay officials on the game. If someone is needed to explain it, whether it's Steve Shaw, the director of officiating, or a conference member's director of officiating, that I think they're going to want their best people forward. And you may not have that on a Vandy, Missouri game in October, but you can get that on a quarterfinal in December. So I think there's a chance of it then. I don't think the NFL will pay any attention whatsoever to what's going on in college. All right. They're very arrogant in that way. They think what they do is the best. They don't want to do anything that looks as if they're actually copying from another league, even though there are many of us who have thought that the college replay system with the person up in the booth works better than the NFL replay system. But the NFL obviously still does their own thing.
It leads our poll question, not really about that, but more about the other, I think, overwhelming story of the postseason. And that was all during the season as well. How often teams were going for it on fourth down, and some big fourth down decisions in both games yesterday came back to bite the teams that lost. So therefore, based on the missed fourth down tries in this postseason, do you think teams will take the points in the 2026 season? 57% say yes, or at least I hope so. And 43% of you say no, that analytics will win out. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X to vote. If you're not an X subscriber, text us. Pelican Roofing of Florida text line 21,000 is the number.
I will say, and as somebody who's lucky enough to be in the booth when situations like this come up, I feel pretty confident I would have said something in Troy's ear with a minute and a half to go in the third quarter, because I was thinking it sitting on my own couch. So I likely would have also thought it standing in the booth. But to me, that is the one decision that was never talked about by Fox yesterday. When the Rams scored, they got the 15-yard penalty for taunting. They get the ball back. The next play, they go up top, touchdown, 31-26. And remember, there's a long review because they want to see, did Puka have it? Did the ball touch the ground? They go to commercial. They come back. They're still looking at it. There was plenty of time. I don't remember Burkhardt, Brady, anybody bringing up, do we go for two here? 31-26, minute and a half to go, third quarter. Because obviously, if they make it, it's a 3-point game. And then obviously, the very next time they get the ball, they drive down and they have 2 fourth downs. One with 7.5 minutes to go. All right, do you just take the field goal then and not even risk it? They converted the fourth down. Then they get to 4th and 4 to 7 with 5 minutes to go. You got to figure one of those 2 fourth downs, he's kicking the tying field goal, right? Now, Seattle didn't have trouble moving the ball. Does Seattle win it on a walk-off score? I think we all still would have thought, tie game, who has the ball? They're going to win. Okay, but, that turned out to be a very key decision. But because it was still in the third quarter, albeit very late in the third quarter, I don't think any of us, I don't think McVay, Brady, and Burkhardt, us sitting at home, I mean, that's a big deal. And does it change the outcome? Play calling, everything would have been defensive play calling. Everything's different if it's 31-31 as opposed to 31-27. And Mark, you got to believe if they converted the 2-point conversion late third quarter, they would have taken the tying field goal at
4th and 5. I don't know about the 4th and 1, but at 4th and 5, hell yes. Particularly with the time left in the game. In both situations. One's 7.5 minutes, one's 4.5 minutes. So a lot there that I think they definitely kicked the tying field goal. I was not thinking about going for 2. I am not someone in the third quarter who chases points. Your point on it, though, that we're 3 plays away from the fourth quarter is very relevant. And that's on me to not be thinking about it while watching it.
Well, not necessarily.
Well, no, I mean, because that's just how, but that's how we, that's kind of our rule. We don't. You and I have been the same on this, even though we've never really had a conversation about it. We don't chase points until the fourth quarter.
Correct. And we're a minute and a half away from the fourth. The other thing that happened is that, the drives had been fairly quick. We didn't see the 85-yard, 7.5-minute drive coming from the Rams. I mean, the teams have been going up and down the field. These are, 3, 4, 5 minutes at most drives. And so now all of a sudden, the very next time the Rams get the ball back, they're going to take 7.5 minutes off the clock. Well, we're really shortening this game now. I mean, we went from a minute and a half to go in the third quarter to holy blank, Batman. There ain't much time left in this thing.
It is amazing because the first game seemed to be running long to me until that drive by the Patriots in the third quarter. We're 2 hours in. We're just starting the third quarter. The third quarter goes by in a nanosecond. That drive by the Rams in what was I think a little quicker pace to that game than the first one. But all of a sudden, it's like, holy cow, this game's damn near over. It's amazing how it seems in every NFL game, there's a drive that changes the style of the way the game is played.
And the other thing, and we have talked about this at length, is that the NFL is becoming closer to Army-Navy games than we'd like to acknowledge. The NFL almost always used to have 12 possession. Each team would get the ball 12 times. You could bank on it, okay? You really could. You could bank. And then it kind of became 11. There's been a lot of games this year in which there have been 8, 9 possession games. That's an Army-Navy game, okay? And you look back at how many times, there were a lot of possessions in the Patriot-Bronco game, obviously. Nobody could get a first down. I mean, hell, just at the end of the first half, I think each team had the ball twice. Okay, take a look at how many possessions there were in the Rams-Seahawks game. All right. I mean, there are not a lot.
And Denver is a historic, colossal failure in terms of not scoring. No one has had that many Peyton's never had that many consecutive drives without scoring in his coaching career.
I mean, the Rams had the ball 9 times before they got the ball back with 20 seconds to go at the end there. 9. And I could do the same thing for Seattle. Seattle had the ball 10 times. So it's not 12 each anymore. It's not even 11 each. Okay, that game was basically 10-9. And does that make us and the coaches all have to consider, I don't have as many possessions as I used to have? I mean, Mark, think about it. The Rams scored, at the end of the third quarter there, and they had the one big drive in the fourth quarter, and then they got the ball back with 20-something seconds to go. That was it. They had one shot. Well, I mean, if you had said to Sean McVay with a minute and a half to go at 31-26, hey, you're basically only going to get the ball back one more time, he obviously would have gone for 2.
Miller and Moulton. Pat Kirwan coming up top of the hour. We'll get into the games with him. Some other sports things. I don't know if we'll get to today, but there was some sports happenings over the weekend. Our college basketball system tanked.
Oh,
and I mean tanked.
Wow.
It went 0-6. The Billikens won big on Friday. That started it. and all 5 ranked teams won on the road Saturday and won decisively. So on the season, heading into the weekend, our system was 32-27. Our system is now 32-33. Miller and Moulton both go over on their picks against the number because we both had New England but laid the points. Well, the Broncos covered, and we both had the Rams in the 2.5, and that wasn't enough. So there is no way for me to finish above 500 for the season. There hasn't been a way for David to finish above 500 since late October.
I was thinking more Labor Day, but okay, you're being kind. Yes. Head-to-heads, picking games straight up, I have a 1-game lead with 1 left. Okay. And I will not just strategically pick whoever Mark is going to pick. I can tell you right now, Park, I'm picking the Seahawks.
And I am strategically now going to take the Patriots. We're either tying or I'm losing by 2, to be damned with what I think about the game. Pat Kirwan coming up in a little bit. Your texts are always accepted on the Pelican Roofing of Florida text line. Pelican Roofing of Florida, 1-866-9-PELICAN. 1-866-9-PELICAN. Statewide, residential, commercial. Call today for all of your roofing needs. Pelican Roofing, proud sponsor of the Miller and Moulton text line. Our poll question again, in case you didn't catch it, because of the missed 4th down tries in the postseason, do you think that teams will take the points in the 2026 season? Right now, 54-46 saying yes. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton, Miller_Moulton on X. If you're not a subscriber to X, you can always text us 21,000, the number. Miller and Moulton, Pat Kirwan, coming up top of the hour. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
Our wedding band event is back at the Diamond District, January 24th and 25th.
Standout designers from Crown, Ajapi, and Veragio.
2 days only, 20% off designer pricing.
Diamonds, gold, or platinum. One of a kind or perfectly simple. We make it personal and easy.
20% off, January 24th and 25th. Only at the Diamond District. Se habla español.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Good morning, Pat. Pat, can you hear us? Uh-oh. May have to call you, Pat.
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to do the phone.
I know. He was fine on Friday.
Huh. Well,
Pat, we can hear you. Can you hear us? No bueno, it's looking like.
Sonny, how about USC going into Wisconsin yesterday and winning? After Wisconsin had those series of impressive wins. It's a big win for us. I think the tournament's going to be great, by the way. Don't know when people are going to start paying attention, but I think it's going to be terrific.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
We are halfway home on this Overreaction Monday, at least in Jacksonville, Tampa, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Naples. Final hour of the show. Live Oak Lake City, surrounding areas, Port Charlotte, Venice, surrounding areas, Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Thrilled to be joined by Pat Kirwan. We believe he is stuck in Denver, at least for another day. So Pat said, how about if I move up my first appearance of the week? We said, that'd be great. Pat, of course, NFL Network, moving the chains. CBS's NFL Today show. Pat joining us on the Pinterest Hotline. How are you? How are you? Can you hear us?
I can hear you loud and clear. As long as you can hear me, I'm fine.
Good.
I would say yesterday was a throwback game for us in the snow. And, you know, I'm going to get into a lot of subjects, but everyone knew in the early afternoon when it was bright, sunny, and everyone was having a good time and there was no wind, that the snow was coming. And I think as coaches, you got to be thinking about that when it's sunny, knowing that sooner or later we're going to be in a different kind of football game, which leads to the frustration of Sean not taking that field goal to make it 10-0. Because if you can get to the halftime at 10-0, you really are putting the pressure on the Patriots. But they decided, and how many times the three of us talk about the analytics drove these guys to going for it on fourth down all the time. And then it wasn't that far. Yeah, I know. But look what it did to the whole game. I mean, the ripple effect of that was ridiculous.
Well, there's no doubt, Pat. You know, David and I, it's been a pet peeve of ours. You know it. You come on twice a week. We talk about it every damn week, it seems like. Do you think, and this is a little more general question than games, but it's our poll question. Do you think all of these missed fourth downs in the postseason will change anything?
No, because they're driven by analytics, and those people don't get fired, and they're there. And they have the ear of the owners a lot of times, and sometimes even the general manager. So there's these meetings that they go to where the analytics guys present why you have to do things. And I think it's being forced down some coaches' throats, and it really is backfiring, but not enough for these guys to change it. I heard David talking about that we're becoming a 10-drive league. Well, there's another reason they think about fourth downs. If you believe we're going to be a 10-drive team, now the first game was so dysfunctional with the weather and stuff that we ended up, they had lots of drives, I think 25 between them, but a lot of games are just what David said, and I think that drives a lot of these guys too, like, hey, if I'm only getting one or two more possessions, I got to go for it. I can't afford to surrender a drive here. So all those things add up to this logic, or I wouldn't call it logic, but they do, that it's the right thing to do. And it backfires. Look, we went into last week, and the losing teams were 5 of 12 on fourth down conversions. The winning teams were 3 of 4. And we'll get into the other game as we go here, but a lot of people really felt like I did that when he did not take that field goal. So I think 10-0 against Drake May and those guys was going to be a lot of pressure, and they just decided not to worry about that. And then Coach Coward talks about this all the time. It's a momentum changer. When you don't make it, it devastates your offense, and they come off the field, and now all of a sudden one chunk play, and those guys are out of trouble down there. So I think the old school guys are going to think about it, Mark, to your point, but I don't think that the young guys are going to do it. They're kind of driven by it now.
No, and quite frankly, too many of these guys are getting jobs because when they're in the interviews with the owners, they're talking about analytics, and that impresses the owners, so they use it to get the job. So then, of course, they have to use it once they get the jobs. Can we go back to you putting your meteorologist hat on? And I'm being serious here. I didn't have the volume up for most of the pregame. I had the closed captioning on my screen. I had the volume up for probably half of the first half. I did not hear much conversation about the incoming weather, but you're saying it was known that bad weather was coming, not that some snow was coming, but that bad weather was coming. You're saying you and the crew were aware of that.
Yeah. And it was interesting how, because we had to plan, are we doing the whole show outside the stadium? When are we going in? How early do we have to go out to the halftime? So we were aware of it coming, and everyone was aware of it.
Pat, we've got a bad connection here. I can barely hear you, and I can't let that go over the air. So, David, I'm going to let you vamp for a little bit and try to get Pat back on the line on a cleaner line.
And obviously this is important. It goes into the decision-making of Sean Payton, but also it'll go into what second half play calling was going to be, et cetera. And so that's why, I mean, I think he was also alluding to we were all making travel plans. I mean, so we knew the bad weather was coming. And I know quite a few people in the industry that are stuck. They had basketball games on Saturday and they're flying home today. Football games yesterday, they're flying home tomorrow. So, weather was certainly being talked about and taken into consideration in a lot of places. Pat, okay, go.
Regarding the weather, go ahead.
Yeah, well, we all were aware of it, and we were told by it. And, there were people that were trying to get flights out, so they were being told by the airlines, the bad weather's coming. And I'm going to be down in Denver until probably Tuesday morning tomorrow. Today's Monday. Tuesday morning we'll get out of here. But so the airlines alone were warning people, and everyone knew it. And it wasn't I'm shocked that it's like news to anybody because we knew it was coming. But I think you got to, and Bill Cowher was saying the whole day, this game here is going to be close. You take points when you get them. He says it all the time. I will say this, the best thing Bill did at halftime when we were going back up after we were done, he grabbed Mike Vrabel, who played for Bill. They're close. We actually did a special with Vrabel for the show. And he grabbed him and said, go out there and run the ball. It's the third period. Just run the ball. And Mike's answer was, damn it, we're trying, but we are going to try even harder. And then they went out and had that drive where I believe there were 11 run plays, maybe 10. And, of course, the key play was the quarterback scramble, which became the best run play. But they went out there and they chewed up 9 minutes, and that created a different level of panic. Now, all of a sudden, Denver's looking at a clock they weren't thinking about in the first half. And then here comes the snow, the wind, the whole shooting match, basically as they predicted it.
May, to me, only had 2 good passes the whole game. Before the Stidham screw-up, the 3rd and 13 throw that effectively flipped the field, and then the flea flicker in which he threw a great ball. Other than that, I don't remember a good pass that he threw. I know he completed some, but they were easy balls. His legs got it done, but this is remarkable to me, Pat, because Drake May, as a quarterback throwing the ball, has not been great throughout these playoffs, and he's going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's I spent a lot of time with Cousins yesterday talking about this subject right here, and I can't remember, the historian David might, but he has now won 16 games this year with 50 sacks. 50. And Turk was shocked. He said, I'm just telling you, he's got 50 sacks, and he had 5 yesterday. And now his record, if he gets sacked 5 or more times, this is really out there. His record's 5-1. So the guy doesn't get affected by sacks, which is like Kirk said to me, oh man, if I got sacked 5 times, I would never think we'd win a game. I said, the guy's 5-1, and he's been sacked 50 times, and he's been sacked a ton in the postseason. He has a strange mentality, which I respect, that it doesn't rattle him. And it apparently doesn't rattle Josh McDaniels either, because they just keep trucking along. So I've never been around a guy that's been sacked like this and continue to win games.
I hate to talk about this stuff because I know you don't want to talk about this stuff. But one of your 4 hours today is going to be talked about the 4th and 6 inches quarterback sneak by May. Pat, he didn't convert that. There's not a single shred of evidence that supports that he got to the line to gain. Not one. I don't know if his helmet, Pat, got to the line to gain, never mind the ball. How is that not properly officiated?
Well, the three of us have talked about this quite a bit this year. And as I said back in October, when my plea, which was on deaf ears, was that we should get rid of the play for safety reasons. And in October, I said, now I really believe we should get rid of it because it can't be officiated. And we cited many examples of linemen jumping and no ability to prove that they crossed the line to gain, and then these late whistles. I think sometimes the officials are watching these big pushes way past when a player was stopped. What happened to that idea? And so it has to be dropped. Did you see, though, Sean Payton was asking them to look at the aerial?
Yes, he literally was saying CBS has the overhead. Use the overhead shot. He didn't make it, and he was right.
Yes, he was right. But isn't it, I hate to say it this way because it frustrates me, but of course the league moves too slow for me on these kind of subjects. Now they really have to deal with the owners' meetings on can it be officiated? And these darn officials, they're going to say it can be. And you got to take it out of their hands to just get rid of the play. But you cannot officiate. How many times did we see, Mark, guards jumping early and never calling it?
All year long. And then the other play, we got a minute, Pat, and barely that. The Stidham lateral was tipped. I thought it was a fumble live. I'm just curious, what did you think live when that play happened?
I thought it was a live play, too. I sound like I bashed the officials, but I'm telling you, there were times when I said they couldn't officiate that. First of all, they didn't even have enough snow plows to clear the field, and it's not about this situation, but I'm standing literally on the sideline, and I can't see the sideline. And I got my feet where I said, okay, now I'm out of bounds, now I'm in bounds. And there was no way someone could tell that, and no one could tell really if you gained a first down. I mean, they were guessing on a lot of stuff. So as bad as it's been on a normal day, I thought those guys were kind of under some pressure. And
No doubt. All right. He's Pat Kirwan. We'll talk about the NFC game next. Miller and Moulton.
Think we only fix windows? Think again. Your local Glass Doctor Home and Business does so much more to upgrade your home. We custom build stunning shower and bath enclosures, install sleek glass doors and windows, and can bring fresh life to foggy or cracked panes. Need a glass tabletop or a statement mirror? Yep, we do that too. If it's glass and it's in your home, we're the team to call.
Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
This is Miller and Moulton.
So you don't get out till tomorrow morning, Pat?
It looks that way. We got a shot at a flight tonight at around 8 o'clock.
Okay, so their time. So you're done with your show at what, 5 their time?
Yeah, 4:30 because we have.
Oh, that's right. It's Monday night. Yep.
So we'll have plenty of time to get there if we can get on this flight.
Because you can't get direct to Mobile. So where are you going through?
Houston. I said to him, let's not go through Charlotte or Atlanta. Who
No,
knows what the weather
no, that'll be just as bad, maybe.
Yeah. So the irony of it is, if we go out tonight, we have to stay over in Houston and then take the 9 o'clock flight to Mobile. So honestly, we could land up leaving tonight or tomorrow morning and getting to Mobile at the same time.
Yeah, I think I'd rather leave tonight if I were you too, though, just to get the hell out of Dodge.
If we get on the night flight, let's get out of here. So, yeah, it is what it is. You know, I was laughing when Coward grabbed Mike. He was like he was his coach. Damn it, Mike, on the freaking ball.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he answered. I said, Josh McDaniels after the game. I said, Josh, look me in the eye and tell me you're never leaving New England again. Please. No more ideas of other cities. And he goes, don't worry about me.
Well, I mean, I'm sure someone will bring his name up for a head coaching job again, but I mean, I wouldn't. That's not him. He's an OC and a great one.
You know, it's like, just understand when you're happy in life.
How were your Bills friends on Friday when you played golf?
They were turning on anything and everything that is in the organization, and they kind of like hate the owner, fire Brandon Bean. Two guys, one of them said, you know, I was the one who was bitching all the time about Sean McDermott. He goes, I already miss him. Yeah, you should have thought of that before. I said, the guy just won a playoff game last week.
My
owner said he went into the locker room and made this decision based on the sadness in the locker room. 6 days before, he was in a victory locker room on the road.
Yep. My buddy, who's a Bills fan, and he played pro sports, and he could do our show. He could fill in any day and do 4 hours. The man knows sports, knows it better than I do. And we talked yesterday. He goes, if they hire Phillip Rivers, I'm done. He goes, I'm done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they won't. But I enjoyed that Phil I knew he was going to get someone probing him. Yeah. You know, half of these interviews, by the way, are to recruit the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator.
Right.
And, you know, a guy has to be available. Sometimes you can't get out of your contract and all that stuff. But, and the other half, the Al Davis rule. Let's interview everyone that we're going to play and find out what they do and why.
Now look I would have never hired him, but why is Mike McDaniel scheduling interviews and then not going?
He must have some, you know, I kind of lost track of it in the last 2 days, but he must have something.
Well, he's got apparently the Chargers OC job, but he turned down an interview for the head coaching job with the Bills. Unless he thinks he just has no shot. I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I wouldn't hire him, but it doesn't make sense to me.
I think either he knows he's not getting the job when it's a waste of his time, or he's got something, maybe Arizona, somebody's happy for him. I don't know, but I would never hire that guy. He can go upstairs in the booth and be my offensive coordinator. Don't come down the field. I don't want to see you on the sideline the way you look. You just go up there and call plays.
Too funny. Not incorrect, but funny, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I like the play call part of Mike, but the rest of it, you know, and anyone, how could you take a guy that's had the struggles he's had and interview him for the head coaching job with the intention to hire? I think the intention to find out what he knows is really interesting.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Pat Kirwan snowed in Denver. He's headed to the Senior Bowl before he heads to the Super Bowl. Hopefully he can get to Mobile, Alabama tomorrow. Pat joining us courtesy of Pinchers. From Tampa to Key West, over a dozen locations in between Pinchers where you can't fake fresh. We made the comment earlier in the show that watching the AFC title game and the NFC title game brought back memories of the 80s and the first half of the 90s, where it seemed as if one conference was the varsity and one was the junior varsity. That may be a little rude by us, but it just seemed as the NFC title game was going along that the winner of the Lombardi Trophy was being decided in Seattle last night.
Oh, I do love that you made that connection. This is historic for you, David, and Mark too, but more for you. When I got done watching the second game after being at the first game, what I thought was the first game was the old NFL and the second game was the old AFL. That's how I saw it. Let's go out and throw for over 700 yards. Let's go out and have close to 1,000 yards of offense. I mean, it was Darryl LaMonica and Joe Namath bombs away, and throwing the ball. It was nice to see a day where you could function. But that's how I saw the two games, which is basically the same as yours. Just more, I loved the AFL as a kid. And that's what I felt like I was watching. Let's go get it and throw the ball.
Well, the one thing that I took from the game, and maybe this was there all year, maybe I didn't watch the Rams enough, but if I were to pin the game on any one unit, I would pin the loss. And obviously we can just point to the muffed punt. I get it. But take that out of the equation. The Rams D-backs were not good in that game. There was separation all night, whether it was Smith and Jigba, whether it was one of the other receivers, whether it was missing tackles on Kenneth Walker throughout the game. So when you look at the game, where did you see the big points of where, and it was close, but where Seattle had the edge?
I definitely thought they had the edge on two things. I thought, and I said this on for you guys on Friday, I was excited to see Walker get a whole day's work. And I like Charbonnet, and I think he's fine. But you said, Mark, back to me, I remember Michigan State. That guy can handle 30 touches, no problem. And I was fired up for that. He got to the 19 runs, caught 4. I thought his receiver, Pete Carroll used to say to me all the time, Walker's going to be a good receiver. So he got over 100 yards of offense. But I'm with you. The secondary was bad back there. But David, I think, brought this up multiple times during the year. Didn't we kind of all decide that the Rams special teams was a huge liability?
It was. I mean, that's their third kicker. And, they fired a special teams coach during the year. And, there's an adage in baseball that eventually the ball finds you. Okay. At some point, Sean McVay in a meeting this year said, our special teams is going to cost us the Super Bowl. And it did.
Yeah. So, and we talked about this last week. You cannot hide your deficiencies in these major games. The bigger the game, the more likely your deficiency is going to be a haunting problem. And I think to your points, that's it. The secondary has not been a great situation. And then they have special team issues, and sooner or later those things surface. What didn't surface was Sam Darnold's lack of being able to have ball security. And he got through this game. He sacked a couple times, but he didn't turn the ball over. I would have lost a lot of money betting on a guy. I said, he'll turn the ball over because it's him. But he avoided that, and he got through it. Maybe there's a little luck involved with that. There always is. But their deficiency didn't surface. And then I heard David say that he'll be taking Seattle, and they'll be you and me, David, taking Seattle. Mark, I understand why you're not. You're trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Absolutely.
You got a big rabbit and a little hat. It's going to hard to get it out.
There's no doubt. And the one thing, Mays played against 3 really good defenses. He'll play against a 4th. Has Darnold played against, and we got a lot of time to get into this, but has Darnold played against the defense he'll face in the Super Bowl? That remains to be seen, because the Patriots defense was obviously exceptional. But I thought the one thing Brady pointed out a lot in the game was Darnold's ability to roll left and still make throws. He was sensational throughout the game. He didn't make the big mistake, but he made a lot of big throws too, Pat.
Yep, he was, and he was coached. I knew the guy who coached him in high school, and it was one of the great famous guys out there on the West Coast that trains these guys. But he can square his shoulders when he goes to the left, and he's disciplined. So many of these kids, when they go to the left, the right-handed kids, they can't get the shoulder turned around, and the ball's always a mess. He's pretty mechanically sound that way. And he's a lot faster than people think. He can get outside and break contain. And, and that's why I think people are stuck with him, because they saw all that natural ability. What he was never good at was handling himself in a crisis. As soon as he was scrambling around with pressure all around him, he would throw an interception. Which leads me to the two head coaches left. And you know how I feel about this subject. Two defensive head coaches in the Super Bowl. And both of those guys figured out how to coach quarterbacks pretty well. Oh, you got to get an offensive guy to train your quarterback. You do? Mike's doing a nice job along with his OC. And then I think Mike McDonald's doing a tremendous job getting Sam back under control and playing to his talent.
Well, the other thing that's going to be talked about with Darnold, obviously, is, he wasn't Drake May. He wasn't an overnight sensation right out of the chute. He was, Pat, quite frankly, how it used to be 40 years ago with quarterbacks. You had to develop them.
Yes.
You knew when you drafted a quarterback, he was going to need a minimum of 5 years. Oftentimes, he'd need to get to about age 30 in year 7. Okay, we're a very impatient league now. Hell, 10 new coaches this year. I mean, I don't know how many teams are going to be willing to be patient. Baker's on his 4th team. Darnold's on his 3rd or 4th team. I mean, that's really the story of the league that I think the league needs to take a look at is, did we turn away a Sam Darnold in the last 5 years, or did we not properly coach a Sam Darnold in the last 5 years?
Well, there's a lot of carnage in the first-round quarterback world for the reasons you stated. The impatience is a big part of it. And then it's the pressure that they're 21-year-old guys. Now we're getting a bunch of older guys coming into the league, Shuck, for example, and they're more mature. And the COVID thing kind of really helped quarterbacks mature in college. But a lot of these kids that have been wiped out, I don't know if Rosen was ever going to be good. I don't know that. And no one will ever know it. I don't know if Justin Fields is ever going to be good. So they get thrown on the field and they get thrown out. But if someone out of necessity has to take them because they're looking for a backup with some experience, and all of a sudden the guy blossoms, yeah, it's the way it was, but it's not the way it is anymore. It's not going to be that way. No one's going to look at this draft class and say, let's give them 5 years. And anyone drafted in the first round, and I hope no more than one, because I don't think they're worth it, but they're gonna, and then all of a sudden they're going to be on the field and they're going to fail. That's what I think is going to happen to most of them.
And we're quick to kick them out if they regress. Baker, by injury, started to get banged up, and he got shipped out of Cleveland. You wonder in Houston, C.J. Stroud had a great rookie year. The next two, not so good. I don't think they're replacing him now, but there's already talk of, do we need to look for his replacement?
Sure. And one more year of injury and bad play by the young talent in Washington, and they'll start turning on him, which is really ridiculous. And someone's already said to me, he's the next Stroud. I said, you got to be kidding. Jaden Daniels is a talent. But so the impatience, it doesn't go away. And I'll give you a great example. What are we going to say in 2 weeks on the Monday after the Super Bowl if Sam Darnold throws 3 interceptions? We were right all along. He's no good. That's what we'll say. We will not be able to say, look what he did this year. They turned on him last year in Minnesota. He won 14 games. They turned on him.
Yep.
And I think the kid's going to live with that his whole career. They're waiting to see him fail again.
Well, he's got one more game to go. He was brilliant yesterday. He's Pat Kirwan, NFL Radio's Moving the Chains, CBS's NFL Today show. Stuck in Denver. He'll be doing his show live from there later today. Pat Kirwan joining us on Miller and Moulton.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. AmericanPaintSupplies.com. CCC 1332512.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floor Meisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floor Meisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floor Meisters in Naples. FloorMeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floor Meisters, just keeping it real.
Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Absolutely, DC. I mean, I saw that playoff game last year against the Rams. He got sacked 9 times. He held on to the ball forever. It's a turnover machine.
I will say
we did
it in 2 games, but the fact of the matter is, I know all offseason I said Minnesota should keep him.
Yeah.
You can turn on him on a game and say he played like crap. That's doing honest reporting of the game. There's no one that thought he played good. The show may have turned on him for 2 games, but I did not want the Vikings to get rid of him, DC. I never said that.
I didn't either.
I thought that was an ignorant decision on their part. Actually, not ignorant, because they should have known better. It was a stupid decision on their part.
It was a salary cap decision. You know, they saved $35 million, but now they don't know if they have a quarterback.
I mean, I think it's a far different cry. Turning on him is saying he's bum, he'll never be good again. I didn't want the Vikings to get rid of him. I think that's a long way off from what you're implying by that, DC.
Now, I didn't think he'd play like he did yesterday, a year ago.
I mean, I picked the Rams. I thought Darnold for sure was going to throw a pick in the game. Now, the D-backs were never anywhere near a receiver to pick one off, but he threw the ball very accurately.
Sonny, I agree with you. It's going to put a big test on Gonzalez, because also they're going to have to use Gonzalez to follow him. They're not going to want to, but they're going to have to.
And it'll make Shaheed there give an opportunity, because he's got the wheels and he got behind the D-backs on the big play early in the game yesterday.
Can't credit Seattle enough. They pushed out Pete Carroll. They revamped on the fly, got rid of their quarterback and top 2 receivers, placed him with a different quarterback and top 2 receivers.
EB, when's the last time that's happened? Am I missing something? Because I don't recall that happening in a long time. I mean, the one I can think of off the top of my head was the Raiders player that went MIA, and that's
23 years ago.
I was going to say, because it was today, that game on the, that's a quarter century ago. I mean, maybe there's another one that you have, but I think that's you guys just searching for storylines that just aren't there in today's game.
You had the 3 in like 15 years there. You had Stanley Jennings with the Bengals in the 88 Super Bowl, 88 season. You had
is the Falcon safety the one that got the hooker and got busted, or the cop that was supposed to be a hooker?
You mean after he won the Bart Starman of the Year of the Award?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Yep.
This is over a generation ago.
Yeah, it was the 98 season. By the way, both those games in Miami. And then the Raiders one was San Diego.
And he ended up,
Tijuana or wherever.
Tijuana, right.
Yeah. So we're talking about 37, 27, and 23.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour. Miller and Moulton. MillerandMoulton.com. Miller_Moulton on X. Super Bowl 60 is set. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 49. It's Seattle and New England. Seahawks a 4.5-point favorite this time. Game will be on NBC. Mike Tirico calling his first Super Bowl along with Collinsworth. I thought the line would be a little bit bigger. Thought it'd be in the 5.5 and get into the 6, almost 6.5 range by kickoff. We'll see what happens. I did see it open, Mark, immediately after the conference championship games. I saw it open at 4 and it was 4.5 within an hour.
Yeah, if I'm betting Seattle, I'm jumping it now because I'm with you. By the way, the little factoid I had, let me go back to, David.
Okay.
I love my Pope football correlations. 2005 season. For the record, in the 21st century, every single time a new Pope has been elected, the Seahawks have been the 1 seed and made it to the Super Bowl. 05 season, 06 Super Bowl, Pope Benedict, Seahawks to the Super Bowl. They lose to Pittsburgh.
Correct.
2013, Pope Francis, Seahawks Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl.
They blow out Denver.
And then this year, we shall see. So anytime, Pope facts, it's the Catholic in me. I'm sorry if you're not Catholic and you hate me for it. That's okay. I can deal with it.
This is very small on the grand scheme of things, but can we stop is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Famer question? I mean, Miller and Moulton are wrong about a lot. We were right about that 3 years ago. Could we stop, please? I mean, please. Of course he's a Hall of Famer. Are you serious? Are you serious? I mean, is that up for debate anymore? I mean, you could talk about Matt Ryan and Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning and what have you, but can we just stop it with is Matthew Stafford a Hall of Fame quarterback anymore? That's an insulting question now, isn't it?
I think it'll still be brought up. I said it on Friday. If he wins, it's a for sure thing. If he loses, isn't? I asked the question.
Well, 374 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. All right. And he didn't muff the punt. So I think it's a joke now, actually, to ask the question, but I'm biased. Obviously we've been in Stafford's corner since we interviewed him before he got drafted at the Tampa Super Bowl. Okay. So, we've been in on Stafford for 17 years.
He won me over off the record. And I share it now, and I don't have any problem with it because it's not like we hang out. But I'm a Michigan guy. I looked him dead in the eyes before the interview started. And I said, hey, man, I said, seriously, I said, completely off the record. I said, but I'm from Michigan. Lions? You really want to go there? And he sat up in his chair. He said, are you serious? To be the number 1 pick overall and turn a franchise around? Hell yes, I want to go there.
Yep.
That was it. And I'm like, cool. That, you know, I mean, and I said, I had to ask, man. I appreciate you answering me. And then we did an interview and had a great interview with Matt.
We were sitting at a table of 4. Mark was sitting to my right. We were on the same side of the table. Stafford was sitting directly across from Mark. Mark Malone was actually also sitting at the table for a time being. But
because we had him next.
Yes.
We had got him next. So he came early and sat down across from David.
And we put a headset on him, though. And then we had Mark Malone was the first-round draft pick quarterback, albeit 25 years earlier. And so we let the two of them. Malone started kind of reacting to something Stafford said during our interview. So we just turned up the headset and said, you could talk to him. And then the 4 of us had a nice conversation. But Mark Miller was sitting directly across from Matthew Stafford, said, dude, I'm from Michigan. You really want this? And Stafford could have reacted any way possible. And he sat forward in his chair and he leaned in over the table and stared a hole right through Mark. Like, are you serious? You think I'm scared of this challenge? Okay, you're nuts. And, you know, for just a little thing, but, you know, at that moment we were like, well, we don't think he'll be overwhelmed by it. Don't know if he'll be successful, but don't think he'll be overwhelmed by it.
I will say, you know, great second half, great fourth quarter again, great drive. The drive after the muff punt was monstrous for Stafford and the Rams because the game was in the balance right there.
No doubt. No doubt. And they had back-to-back touchdown drives. Granted, they got the taunting penalty to keep the one drive alive. To me, Mark, by the way, that was going to loom as the most, I don't know if controversial is the word, biggest. I mean, have we ever had a game, I'm sure we have in some sport, but a game whose outcome was determined by a taunting penalty?
Oh, I certainly not on Sundays, if you know what I mean.
I mean, that was 4th and 12. They were punting. They were down 11.
But Woolen was the one with the penalty.
Yep.
And I thought it was interesting because when then they go to the sidelines and it's the rookie up in his grill. I mean, they kind of had not separated, but players got in between them to say, come on now, you know, get back to the job at hand. But it was the rookie telling him, and he's only Woolen's only a 4th-year player, but it was the rookie telling the 4th-year guy, get your in gear.
Yeah. Oh, no. Woolen didn't have any support on the sideline. That was obvious. From coaches to players, they were all like, you just cost us 7 points. It's the NFC Championship game. What the hell is your problem?
And he was trying to defend himself. But I just thought of all the players that were in his grill about it, the rookie had to be kind of pulled back from doing it. And by the way, he's a stud.
Yes, he is.
He's a stud. Plays he made throughout that game, back-to-back plays that he made, you know, shutting drives down. He was really good yesterday. He is really good. He's one of the defensive players up for Defensive Rookie of the Year. And if it was voted on after yesterday, he'd win the award.
By the way, you sure you want to be a DB? Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams, and then JSN and the former Ram there, Cooper Kupp. I mean, remember Gary Danielson came on the show a long time ago and just said, man, receivers, they can get open. They can get open. And you think your corner is better than your receiver? Trust me. And he told us the Brian Brennan story going up against the 2 elite corners that Cleveland had, Dixon and Minifield. And he said, and Brian Brennan, he goes 3rd, 4th wide receiver. He'd be running around all practice. I'm open. I'm open. Okay. And Gary'd be like, and he was.
It was one of the first things I really learned from Gary when he was coming on our show regularly. And, you know, obviously we're talking Saturdays, not Sunday, but Gary just talked about, hey, man, when you're talking about the 3rd or 4th receiver in a college game, against the third or fourth corner in a college game. They can't guard him. So if you're a team that's running four wides, guys are open, and they're always going to be open.
But I mean, it didn't matter down in distance, seemingly. I mean, those four wide receivers and the guys who were lining up
let
against
them play really handsy
Yeah.
at this time. I mean, there were, I thought, between the two games, David, I thought there were 4 calls in the regular season that may have been interference.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with them not calling. I'm not at all complaining. I am just merely saying that when we get to this point in the season, the referees officiate the games differently. And the players all know it going in. It's not like they realize it on the first drive. That's why when you go back to the Denver-Buffalo game, and again, on that first interference call, there was a roughing the passer call that would have been taken. But when it was pointed out during the broadcast, the touchdown attempt of a throw by Josh Allen and the guys mugged in the end zone, no call there, and then they call 2 in overtime. Ooh, it's not typically what they do.
So it's Seattle and New England. It's a 1 seed and a 2 seed. And once again, one of the road teams won conference championship Sunday. I mean, it's quite a run we're on here. Although the home teams had a really good run, but
10-2 heading into that game in the last 6 years.
Yep. The teens, there were a lot of road teams that won. In the 2020s, the home teams had won. And home teams went 1-1, and here we are. But think about it. Sam Darnold, 3rd overall pick of a draft, a journeyman career. Now here he is on the sport's biggest stage. Drake May, 3rd overall pick of the draft from just 2 years ago. The 2nd youngest quarterback to ever start the Super Bowl, behind only Dan Marino.
And the Patriots doing something yesterday that they'd never done before. In the playoffs heading into yesterday, they were 0-4 at Denver.
Yep.
You know, they had a pretty good quarterback for a couple of those games. You may have heard of him. His name's Tom Brady.
I was going to say he lost at least 3 of them because, Brady hadn't lost a playoff game. They win the Super Bowl in 01. They win the 03 Super Bowl. They win the 04 Super Bowl. They win a home playoff game in 05. They go to Denver in 05. Brady's 10-0 in the playoffs. Denver beats them. Then Pittsburgh beats Denver the next week to go to the Super Bowl. And then Peyton and Brady in 2013 season, 2015 season, they went at it in the AFC title games in Denver. Peyton and Denver won them both. Now, all 3 games were not high scoring. I believe winning total was 20, basically. If you got to 20, you won. But I don't know about in the 70s or 80s or 90s even, but I know that's 3 times that Brady went to Denver in the playoffs and lost.
And that's it. He's 0-3. And now May's 1-0. So I don't know when the other one was, but it's 4 playoff trips, but Brady had lost 3 of them. By the way, locally here in the state of Florida, where our show is heard, I don't know what it opened at because I did not check it yesterday following the game. It's 5.5. Seattle's a 5.5-point favorite already. Even money bets are -110. You're just paying juice. So bet accordingly, but I still think that could be closer to 6.5 by kick.
Are you inclined to play the over or the under? Right now, I believe it's 46.5. If the line is 5.5, you're looking at give or take a half a point, a 26-21 Seattle win is pretty much the bet to bet accordingly.
46 right now in the Hard Rock app, even for what it's worth, is the number. Boy, right now I don't know. I would, I hate betting unders. I've already been burned by one under this postseason. I think I would bet the over because I'm a bigger fan of overs.
Gotcha. But the Patriots have been involved in some low-scoring games here. I mean, think about it. Didn't they give up 6 in a win against the Chargers and 7 in a win against Denver?
Right. They've played the first, second, and fifth best defenses in the league in this postseason. And Seattle's no slouch on that side of the ball.
So, but it's been a long time since the Patriots were in the Super Bowl and they were this big of a dog. I mean, they were a 2-touchdown dog against the Rams, Brady's first one, but I don't know if Brady and company were a dog in all the rest of the Super Bowls that they were in. So the Patriots in the role of the underdog. It's been a while. And by the way, does this win help get Kraft in the Hall of Fame? Timing.
Well, you and I both think he should be in just based on the fact that if Jera's in, how's Kraft not in? Now, I will say I think Jera's done more to make the owners money than Kraft, and I don't think it's close.
No. And they showed their priority. Their priorities, their wallet and their checkbook.
Right, but those guys aren't the ones voting.
No, I know.
And we have a lot of respect for those people that are in that room.
Kraft, a finalist for the Hall, along with Belichick. Come on, you got to put them in together, right?
Just for the speeches. One right after another. It's perfect. Draw straws to see who goes first.
Miller and Moulton. So there you go. Thanks to Pat Kirwan for joining us. If you missed it, go to millerandmoulton.com and download what you missed. The Diamond District bonus hour is coming up.
Our poll question, because of the missed fourth down tries, do you think teams will take the points next year? It was really even until Pat Kirwan came on the show and said, no, I don't think it will have any effect on it. Analytics are driving these guys getting jobs. David brought up the point. They're even telling the owners how much they love analytics when they're interviewing for the jobs. Miller_Moulton, that Mark Miller, the David Moulton to vote. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea. And by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine. No more snoring. No more tossing. No more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
The Cape Coral Police Department is growing, and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000, depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to capecops.com. Capecops.com. Be brave, be best. Be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Spring training is a big win for Lee County. Beginning next month, we will proudly host the Boston Red Sox and Minnesota Twins right here in Southwest Florida. It's more than great baseball. It's jobs, visitors, and $69 million in tourism impact for our local economy. Get your tickets at redsox.com and twins.com. Be part of something that strengthens our community. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Hey, football fans, Jimmy the Beef Guy here. This is coming up fast. Wait, did you just beat me? You mean I can't say soup? Whatever. So, guys, if you're having a football party, don't wait till last minute. Remember, guys, our beef packages come with the beef, the gravy, the bread, the peppers. All you have to do is heat and serve. So call me now or stop in one of our 2 locations in Bonita Springs or Fort Myers. And again, guys, please don't wait till last minute, man. Put your orders in now.
For 22 years, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We're your neighbors at the Diamond District.
From custom design and expert repairs to gold buying, appraisals, and spa treatments for your jewelry, we do it all right here in the store.
Whether you're creating something new or bringing new life to a family heirloom,
our team handles every piece with care, craft, and experience.
22 years of dedicated service only at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Off the top of my head, the Patriots were a 14 to 14.5 point underdog against the Rams in the first time around. The Patriots were a 4.5 point favorite against Carolina, didn't cover. 6 point favorite against the Eagles, didn't cover. They were a 12.5 point favorite against the Giants, obviously didn't cover. They were either anywhere from a 1.5 point favorite to a 1.5 point underdog against the Giants in 2011. They didn't cover. I thought they were a slight underdog against Seattle when they had the goal line stand and won. They were slight favorites and ended up covering miraculously against the Falcons. They were favorites and didn't cover against the Eagles. They were favorites and ended up covering. It was like 3.5, I think, against the Rams and ended up covering. So I think those are the Brady, Belichick, Kraft Super Bowls.
By the way,
yeah,
for all you cheeseheads out there, I have made the point or made the comment, the opinion, that while Seth is not a big fan of St. Louis Cardinal fans, he thinks that they're pretty arrogant and pretty obnoxious and they don't get the bad rap that the Boston fan does, if you will. I have claimed that, the Eagles fan kind of gets that in football. The Packer fan's annoying. They are. Back to the cheese state. Wisconsin lost to Penn State in hockey over the weekend, and the Wisconsin coach refused to shake the Penn State coach's hand. Coincidence? I say not. I will say the Badger basketball team's starting to get it going on right now.
Well, USC just went to Wisconsin over the weekend and won.
Did they beat? Okay. That was part of
on Saturday. That was a shocker.
Nine o'clock for that. I mean, I know it's time. 9 o'clock for Arizona BYU. I won't see. Maybe I'll see the first half.
I have the Patriots 4-7 against the spread in their 11 previous Super Bowls. They obviously didn't cover against the Bears. They were getting double digits against the Packers, but I don't think it was enough. They lost by 14. I thought the spread was just under. So I think they went 0-2, although that was a Kraft Super Bowl. But during the Belichick-Brady run, I think they went 4-5 against the number in their 9 Super Bowls.
I have it at 4-6-1. One was even, but
okay, then that's probably the New England Green Bay one.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, coming at you from the Floor Meister Studios. Floor Meisters, keeping it real. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the Diamond District bonus hour on this Overreaction Monday. A 1 seed and a 2 seed will play for Super Bowl 60. Seattle, the 1, New England, the 2. Seattle going to be favored anywhere from 4 and change to 5 and change. Who knows? It could get up to 6 and change. We shall see. The game will be in Santa Clara, home of the Niners. By the way, neither team training where the Niners train. I guess the Patriots are training at Stanford, and Seattle is training at San Jose State, for whatever the heck that's worth. But there you have it.
All afraid of that electric plant there, the power plant.
Well, let me tell you, I mean, when your own team comes out and says, I don't know, might be something about where the practice facility is. And I mean, Mark, it reminds me, I don't know if you had this issue growing up, but in Jersey, we got, high power wires everywhere. It seemed like every school, every hospital, there was asbestos in our schools, and we were outside playing underneath high tension wires. I mean, I feel like we're back in the 70s again, talking about EPA when the Niners were trying to figure out how come they have so many injuries. They're looking about whether or not where their practice facility is located is getting their players sick.
First off, that whole theory is a bunch of bunk. Like doctors and scientists have all said it's bunk. So I'll go with them. Secondly, David, 1, I'm from Saginaw, Michigan, and 2, I'm actually from the suburbs of Saginaw where I grew up. David, there were not big power lines near me. It was just lucky that we had power lines near where I grew up. Although our football and baseball fields as children, there was a Bell Telephone substation, if you will.
Okay.
And it had a beautiful area around it where there were poles on one side and basically weeds on the other. And it was about, 35, 40-yard field. So the 2 plays were down and out poles, down and out weeds. At the end of the poles, the weeds then formed a perfect diamond, which is where our wiffle ball field was. I feel like, I would put my little area of growing up for 4 sports next to anybody who grew up anywhere, because the kid across the street from me, his dad was the JV high school basketball coach at the Catholic school. And then before I moved there, because I moved there when I was 3 years old, so like 72, 73, we moved there. He had a regulation size square glass backboard with about a half-court driveway. And behind their house was Swan Creek, which froze over in the winter, which then would be our hockey.
Wow.
Arena. I mean, I'm not kidding. I don't know if a kid had it better than me, not to mention 2 golf courses that we could sneak onto within a mile from that neighborhood. I don't joke. We had it really good as kids. And David, no power lines. No power lines.
So it was you and your crew, not Jim Harbaugh, who first said, "No, who's got it better than us?"
Nobody.
I do miss the asbestos in the schools, though. I did. I love the pipes that were wrapped in the asbestos. Okay, walking down the hallways. Is this bad for you? Nah, don't worry about it. Get to class. Loved it. Loved it.
Apparently, they didn't even get a snow day in New York? The new mayor there that everybody loves so much told them they had to do in-home schooling today?
Wow.
Yeah, right. I mean, are you kidding me? Not giving kids a snow day? That is the one great delight in life. I had Trent on for an hour Thursday, and they've been getting blasted where he lives in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is kind of normal for that part of the world. But he was, his mom's a teacher, his brother's a teacher, so they've been having the days off. I loved the snow day, and going to a Catholic school because kids came from all over the area. We were called early. We knew, you knew by 10 o'clock and sometimes earlier that, this might be a fun night tonight. We've got tomorrow off. That meant staying up and watching Carson.
So afterwards, Matthew Stafford was asked about his future, and he was non-committal. Remember, season started. We didn't know if he'd be healthy enough to start the year. There was serious talk leading into week 1. Does Stafford need to miss the first 4 games of the year and heal up? Now, he's going to win an MVP award here coming up in about a week and a half, but that would be something. Talk about a fly in the ointment. If all of a sudden Matthew Stafford walks away literally at the top of his game, I mean, I think most of us, we don't know him, but we think, man, if you're playing that well, I mean, why would you walk away now? But that'd be something. Mike McDonald came out and said Sam Darnold, quote, shut a lot of people up. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. By the way, he earned the doubters. I mean, and you could put Miller and Moulton on the list. Okay. I didn't think that when Seattle acquired Sam Darnold this offseason, he was going to take him to the Super Bowl.
Neither did I, but for the record, if we were the Minnesota Vikings general manager, he would have been playing in Minnesota this year. We were pretty much on that all off season. That was, we didn't like the move they made at quarterback. We probably would have franchised him because that seemed to be I thought the right move. 1 more year, prove it, then you can get the big contract. But they chose not to re-sign him, and obviously we all know the year the Vikings had.
I hate to do this because, first off, it's hypothetical. Nobody knows the answer. But, I mean, this was a bit of a magic carpet ride for Denver. I mean, do we have to go back through their crazy come-from-behind wins?
No, but we can point out at the same time that the year prior to that, Kansas City won all of those close games, and we wondered if they were a little paper mache. Well, this year, they didn't win any of the close games. Their record went from, I think, undefeated in close games to 7 close game losses in 2025.
And so if I were to say to you right now, my $20, we have 4 years left in the decade on the field, 26, 27, 28, 29 season. Will the Broncos host the AFC Championship game the rest of the decade once? Will they host it once? Because I would vote no.
I would also.
Now, obviously, you don't have to host the game to win it and go to the Super Bowl, but it's nice. But, we see it all the time in sports, these windows. I mean, remember, we can talk about dynasties. Belichick and Brady, they won those 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Do you know when they won their next Super Bowl? 10 years later, when Seattle didn't run the ball at the goal line.
And I'm not comparing these two franchises historically, David, but let's look at Denver the past few years, post-Manning, if you will. They were not very good.
Didn't have a winning season.
Right.
This year. Well, till last year.
That kind of reminds me of the Lions for a while. And here comes Detroit, number 1 seed. Now, they got beat before the championship game, but they didn't make the playoffs this past year. Denver's now, there's only a couple of games. There's 3 games difference in a third-place schedule from a first-place schedule. But those 3 games are pretty different of what they'll play this year.
I mean, will we look back? And we have said this many times, but it was Super Bowl 45. It was in Dallas. And it was Pittsburgh and Green Bay. And neither franchise has been back to the game since. Do you know how many games the Steelers and the Packers have won over the last 15 years? And they haven't gotten back to the game. Forget winning the game. They haven't gotten back to the game. I mean, you really wonder, and I feel badly for them. Bo Nix breaking his ankle, that sucks. Absolutely sucks. I wanted to see them win or lose that game, with at least the quarterback battle being even. You got your guy, we got our guy. And we all know that the Denver head coach helped screw it up. But you just have to wonder.
But
And
the big play was not made by a call of Sean Payton. It was made by the horrific play of Stidham when the fumble or the lateral, as they called it. I thought it was a fumble live, but regardless, that was the difference in that football game.
can I just ask you one more question about that? So Stidham is not getting rid of the ball, holding on to it. What are you doing? What are you doing? And then he tries the two-handed chest pass like it's basketball. When you saw the replay, and I don't mean the first time, when you got what you felt was your best view of that replay, the ball went backwards, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But was the ball going backwards until the Patriots defender deflected it backwards? I mean, does it matter that it looked like Stidham was shot putting it forward, but before the ball could get off his hand, the Patriots defender made direct contact with his hand and sent the ball going on a backward diagonal? I mean,
well, first off, it's why I thought it was a fumble, not a pass, okay? Because I thought he was losing control of the ball as the rush was coming on. But, David, there's no doubt that the tip helped the ball go backward. And it's weird. It's a really weird play because he is backpedaling so quickly
right,
that it's really tough for me to determine exactly when he was getting rid of the ball and where the ball was going.
Exactly.
Because there's no way for the ball not to be going in front of where his feet were because he's moving back at 3 feet a second at that point. I mean, he's on a full back pedal. That's the hardest part about it. But they call it a forward pass and grounding and changed that to a lateral. Now, the fact that the play was ever blown dead is beyond comprehension to me. When we let everything play out now, I was stunned they didn't let it play out. But, David, I couldn't tell whether it was the deflection or the shot put that was going backwards. If I were to guess, I would have guessed it was going forward.
It was a zany play that, quite frankly, I don't know how Jared Stidham can describe making. It's ridiculous.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Let's talk the big differences between Floormeisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floormeisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer. So if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeisters prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit LeeCountyBusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at PelicanRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
This is Miller and Moulton.
Is there something you want to cover here, or anything else we'll save till tomorrow?
I think we can save the Dabo till tomorrow because I'd like to. I think that's. I mean, the irony. I mean, I've got to say, Josh Pate's take on it was fantastic. That's all.
I didn't see it.
He did a video. He's like, I've been begging him to get in the portal. I've been begging him, and here he goes. He gets in, and the first time he gets in, this happens. And again, like I said, at any point as you as you're on X, if you see a if you see anything that any sound from X, just forward it to me.
I am hanging in there, Aurora. Thanks for asking. And
you know what? Pause. That's just gross. It's just gross.
Why would you do that? Do you mean
that? Well, that was my poll question.
No, I know.
I don't know if you saw it. Yeah.
No, I did. I thought it was a phenomenal question. I, of course, voted for the 10 and under lane. I think it should be worthy of a citizen's arrest. But so you're saying you pulled your cart down the aisles?
People do that now, David. They pull it. And now what happens is because you can't pull it directly in front of it or you'd catch the back of your legs.
Right.
So you're taking up the entire damn aisle, pulling your cart. I want to run them over. I want to run them down. I want to be Earnhardt at Talladega and take them into the damn wall.
My goodness.
I got about a 3-paragraph answer from Kavanaugh on Saturday about that alone.
That's funny. It's a very sore subject. Very sore subject.
I'm still waiting for the manager at Publix now to grab me when he sees me. I was there yesterday. Boy, people didn't grocery shop on Saturday. They were out yesterday. I had to go to 2 grocery stores. It was a zoo.
Oh, really?
A zoo at Publix and a zoo at Aldi. I mean, nuts. I've never seen Aldi that busy in my life. And my only reason for not getting as upset about the 10 and under, David, is that I've conformed. I just go to self-checkout now. I don't even bother.
Okay.
I can do it faster than they can. I fly through the thing. I'm done quickly. Unless literally there's no one in line.
So the last time I went, which was a week or so ago, I had 12 items. The place was empty. The person's standing there at the 10 or less item, and she says, "Come here, I'll take you." And I go, "Nope, I've got 12. And she goes, "It's okay." And I said, "The hell it is." Nope.
Stove up. It won't be long because the one at Corkscrew wasn't that way, and they finally just popped their cherry with the self-checkout in the last couple months.
Yeah, I hate them. How much? If prices were going down because we were doing so much of the employees' work.
Grocery stores are so much cheaper
Yeah,
now.
right. I mean, I'd understand it.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton. Text the guys what's in your mind at 21,000. That's 21000. And now, here's David Moulton.
21 minutes past the hour. Good, bad, and ugly. What's on tap? Today was the day one. Some final thoughts. A couple of really nice games tonight, by the way. They don't involve helmets and shoulder pads, so I know you may not be interested, but man, there's a couple of really nice games tonight. Might be worthy of your attention. We'll get to it in a moment. So I'm quoting Bet Online. Okay, obviously there's a lot of places you can go. But they send us their info, Mark. So I got it right in front of me. So they opened, I guess, at 3.5. They had their look ahead 3.5. And they said minutes later it went to 4. Now they've got it at 5. And you said the Hard Rock's already at 5.5?
5.5.
Okay. So the folks
someone in our chat room said Hard Rock opened at 3.5. David, I did not look literally until we started talking about this morning.
And the first line I saw was DraftKings, and it was 4, and I think it's still 4.5. But anyway, according to the Bet Online folks, 79% of the public action and 91% of the pros is all on Seattle. And this has been available for what? 12 hours? 79 and 91%. Okay. Here's some other stuff. The over-under. It's the lowest on the Super Bowl in 10 years. And right now the over-under is 46.5. The last time it was lower, Broncos, Panthers, Super Bowl 50. Also played at this stadium for whatever that's worth. First meeting where both coaches are first-time coaches in the Super Bowl. And I know Vrabel, he played on all those Patriots teams. He took the Titans to an AFC title game. He ain't never been the head coach in the Super Bowl before. And obviously, Mike McDonald, his second year as a head coach. Mark, since I've already said I'm taking Seattle, underdogs have covered the last 5 Super Bowls. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
Patriots were 80-1, at least on Bet Online. Don't know what they were, where maybe you go get your stuff. The Patriots were 80-1 to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, they haven't done that yet. There have only been 3 other teams 80-1 or higher get to the game in the last 50 years. The 99 Rams, the greatest show on turf. All right. They were 150-1 to win the Super Bowl when they won it. And they're the only team 80-1 or higher to win the Super Bowl. The other 2 teams, the Bengals team with Joe Burrow 4 seasons ago, and then Matt Ryan's Atlanta team. They were both 80-1 or higher. They both obviously got to the game, and they didn't win. And then, I don't know if this is something that we would have thought of. I find it a very interesting factoid because they've had a few good quarterbacks over the years. But Mark, Sam Darnold will be the first USC quarterback to start a Super Bowl. Now, obviously, they're known for their tailbacks and their Heisman Trophy winners and what have you. But the first USC quarterback to start in a Super Bowl will be Sam Darnold.
We have another thing that could happen if New England wins. There have been 5 universities that have had graduates and U.S. presidents. Biden and Flacco, University of Delaware. Herbert Hoover and Elway and Plunkett went to Stanford. Benjamin Harrison and Ben Roethlisberger each went to Miami of Ohio. President Ford, cheers to President Ford for the first time today, and Tom Brady both attended the University of Michigan. Jimmy Carter and Roger Staubach both graduated from the Naval Academy. Well, James Polk, our 11th president, graduated from North Carolina. And if Drake May wins, that will be 6. Just any time I can go administrations for you, David. I know there's nobody that likes that stuff more than you.
You just went the Polk administration.
You're damn right I did. It's our 11th president, by the way.
I have goosebumps. I'm so happy you just went
taking note.
Administration.
Chiming in the starting 5 and giving you presidential and quarterback useless information.
Exactly. And just think we only have about 13 more days for this useless information.
And that's what we'll get a lot of. Tomorrow, I can guarantee you on the show, we will talk things other than football because a lot's been going on in the sports world. But the coaching carousel continues. We've not really talked about McCarthy to the Steelers yet. I know Steeler fan was very much happy to get rid of Mike Tomlin. Now they want him back.
That's not how it works.
Now they want him back.
That's not how it works.
You know, the other thing you mentioned when it comes to Stafford and coming back next year, and it looks like he will, but there could be a serious brain drain with the Rams. I mean, there are a lot of their coaches that are interviewing. Now, Shula's still out there. A lot of people thought he was going to get the Steeler job. They went McCarthy. But the passing game coordinator's interviewing for the Raiders and Bills job this week. So there are other jobs that Rams coaches may be getting, not to mention coaches that are beneath the coordinator level. How many of those would then be picked up if a Rams guy gets a job somewhere?
Does the Seattle offensive coordinator, Mr. Kubiak, get a job during Super Bowl week here?
You know, he's one of the 5 up for the assistant coach of the year. And I said it last week. With what he did with Darnold, I thought he was deserving. If Vance Joseph gets it, that's fine. Of the D coordinators, there's 3 D coordinators, 2 offensive coordinators. But I can't see Flores getting it. Fangio, I don't know. I don't think their defense was spectacular this year, but if he gets it, that's fine. But I thought it was kind of between Kubiak and Vance Joseph. I wonder who will win that award. And then we're closing in on who gets in the Hall of Fame here in the next 10 days or so.
So there's 4 jobs left, correct? 1 in the NFC, Arizona, because of the 10 openings, only 3 were in the NFC, and Atlanta and the Giants were the first 2 filled. So Arizona's still open. And then we've got Ravens, Bills, Raiders, right?
No, Ravens is filled. Minter took that job.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Cleveland is the other one.
Cleveland.
Who, as of last week, and excuse me for not paying enough attention, as of Friday, they still hadn't fulfilled the Rooney Rule. Baltimore fired and hired a coach and did all the interviewing. Cleveland, apparently by the talk, not only to get the Cleveland job, do you have to interview and get the job, you have to take a personality test and write an essay. Have you seen the things that they're making guys do to get the Browns job? And I'm sorry if I think I'm qualified. Would I even interview there? I'm serious. They look like they're a damn mess again.
My understanding is 3 guys, including Mike McDaniel, all canceled their head coaching interviews once told what the pre-hiring process was. And they're like, oh, this is ridiculous. You guys aren't a serious organization. And they bailed on
driven by data, guys. You had Dorsey there, who was a football guy. You couldn't run him out quickly enough. Everything bad that happens to Cleveland, I'm sorry for their fans, because they're not good fans. They're great fans. And they keep showing up. And I don't know why you do, because your organization from the top on down's a mess, an absolute mess. And I know everybody wanted to get rid of Stefanski. You can see what NFL people thought of him. He was unemployed for an hour and a half.
I was going to say he was second in line for the Giants job. He was first in line for the Atlanta job. There were other places that wanted him. He said, no, I'll choose between the Giants and Falcons. Thanks.
So I don't know what Cleveland's doing. Vegas with some interviews today. The Bills are having more interviews today. We'll see. I would imagine before, I don't know how many this week, but I think they'll all be filled prior to the Super Bowl. Today was the day when the good, the bad, and the ugly. And as David mentioned, a couple of good what's on taps. That's all next. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofingcompany.com. CCC 1332512.
Let's talk the big differences between Floor Meisters and the big box store that sells flooring. Floor Meisters is family owned. They do flooring, not doors, nuts and bolts, or weed killer. They specialize in it. They know it. Floormeisters backs their installer, so if there's ever an issue, good chance the boss, TJ, will come out and make it right. Floormeister's prices beat the box stores every day of the week. When you think flooring, think Floormeisters in Naples. Floormeisters.com. Real people, real prices, real quality selection. The Floormeisters, just keeping it real.
American Paint Supplies is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs and has been for 30 years. American Paint Supplies is also your #1 Festool dealer in Southwest Florida. If you are a builder, cabinet maker, painter, or power tool enthusiast, Festool craftsmanship can be found at American Paint Supplies. Celebrating 30 years of service, and Festool is celebrating 100 years of excellence. Come to American Paint Supply for a perfect pairing of service and expertise on 6100 Shirley Street, Naples, off of Pine Ridge, or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net. Mark Miller for Sleep Treatment Direct. They are helping me with sleep apnea, and by helping me, I mean curing me. No more CPAP machine, no more snoring, no more tossing, no more waking up exhausted. Their expert team got me the right treatment, fast and hassle-free. If you want to feel energized and get rid of your snoring, call Sleep Treatment Direct today. 444-1741. That's 239-444-1741. Sleep Treatment Direct. Sleep safe and sound.
This is Miller and Moulton.
David, just a quick little shop talk here. You should have gotten an email from me with the information. Okay. Because that ran for 3 weeks. They're done, but.
That's it?
Yeah, it was just the first 3 weeks of January. That was the buy. I'm hoping, I reached out to her. I don't know if we're getting anything else first quarter or not. But it was a little run, a little bit of money. Not going to say no to any amount of money.
Hell no.
Yeah, I mean, Scheffler yesterday, and yeah, he hit it in the water on 17. I think he bogeyed 18 too, because he didn't take a chance of going in the water and played it out to the right. But he had a 5-shot lead going into the last hole or whatever it was. I think a 4-shot lead because he probably got up and down there. I turned it off. Blades Brown, I think 3-putted 18. He had a lengthy birdie putt that puts him in the top 10 to get in, and he gave it a run. I think he missed the comebacker, but that's too bad for him. He had that thing wired. I wanted him to get. By the way, if you're Waste Management, I'm giving him a sponsor's exemption now.
Oh, hell yes.
He's 18. He's a good-looking little kid. He still looks 18, but I mean, he's got a good smile. He was good on camera. I mean, he's 18 doing interviews, and he looked like a seasoned pro doing interviews. That's come on now.
I agree.
And and I don't begrudge the NCAA guy going for Live, but he's never going to get the exposure on Live unless he wins a U.S. or British Open, because he's not getting into anything else. Not getting in the PGA. He's now not getting in the Masters.
Yep, I understand.
I don't blame him for taking the money. Again,
I was going to say I just wanted to pause a little bit longer before I went. $20 million.
No. I don't blame the kid. And that's what I said on air. I blame Liv. I wouldn't have made the investment. And I was talking to Buck about it yesterday. He said, well, they're doing it on the come. I'm like, what's the come? What is it that they're getting?
Well, I think they're just trying to build a tour that will last. I mean, they went with the old guys and the names to get started, and now if they're going to lose, Koepka playing this week, I'll be very curious, by the way, the golf world's reaction to Koepka playing this week.
I bet you he gets applauded wildly on 16.
I'll tell you, the funny thing was CBS was promoting the hell out of it.
Oh, weren't they ever?
I found that hysterical because they barely covered him. The one year he was leading the PGA by 3. Okay. But now that he's playing in a San Diego event, well, listen, I'll tell you right now, if he has any kind of form, I'm putting Patrick Reed on the Ryder Cup team in 2 years. We're going overseas. It's time to get nasty. It's time to get serious. It's time to everybody. Let's go.
Okay, but a decent following on social media. And again, my whole point is no one watches Live Golf on TV. Bryson has the best following on social media of any golfer out there. It's not doing anything for Liv's ratings. It's doing great for his brand.
Yep.
I'm talking about the Live Tour. I get what you're saying, Pjad, but explain to me what that does for Live. I know what it does for the golfer. I don't know what it does for Live. I mean, like, you know, it's a far different thing, and I don't blame them for paying her the money so she doesn't go overseas. What does paying Rodman all that money do for the women's soccer league? I don't know if it's attracting any more eyeballs. If she left, how many less people would have watched? I don't know.
I would have let her leave.
Welcome to the bonus hour, brought to you by Jason and Todd at the Diamond District. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
22 minutes till the top of the hour, till we're done. We're out of here. Miller and Moulton, millerandmoulton.com, Miller_Moulton on X. Obviously, Mark's last week on the show. In fact, Thursday will be Mark's
4 days. Counting them down.
Right. Until Mark and his wife, you know, they're going to do some sightseeing of Hillsborough County and going to do some traveling. You know, they've been married nearly 15 years now. It's about time they get out of the house and, you know, just go see the sights and do some traveling. And no,
that's not it.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, but I got to get dinner reservations for Thursday and Friday night. That's my big plan for, you know, for next week. Get some good food in me because, well, starting Sunday, I won't be getting much good food.
No, you won't. And it's not going to be a 7 to 10 day thing either.
No. Most of February,
I was going to say,
I will be spending my time at Moffitt Cancer Center. I will be watching a Super Bowl from the hospital. That should be interesting.
Yes, it should. So how do you, that'll be great if you just walk in this weekend and go, so, hey, how do you guys do the Super Bowl around here? Do we have a party? How does it go?
Are there any square boards available? If not, could you guys get me a big piece of paper and a ruler? We'll get this banged out. How about 10 a square for everybody?
I was going to say,
on the cheap.
I did this in school. I did this when I worked in pro hockey. I can do this anywhere.
Where's Father Landemeyer to buy some squares?
It's that time again, nearing the end, but not quite there yet. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
We start in 1837. Happy birthday, Michigan. Admitted as our nation's 26th state today.
1847?
1837.
37. So what are we talking here? 189 years old?
189, yeah.
All right.
Doesn't look a day over 160.
I was going to say, it's just kind of a little weathered on the sides, but, you know, holding up okay.
1887, ground is broken and construction begins on the Eiffel Tower. Why? I mean, why? It's it's beautiful, I guess. It's big. But what was the point of that? Hey, let's build a big tower.
Well, I mean, you could say the same thing in New York.
No. Those are buildings that people work in. It's not like there's office buildings at the top of the Eiffel Tower. It's a tower. It's there to look at.
That's a good point. Well, you know, they're into art there.
It's a dadgum good point. Today in 1913, Jim Thorpe relinquishes his 1912 medals for playing 2 seasons of semi-pro baseball before competing in the Olympics. 1920. Harry Leland's military engine manufacturing company, the Lincoln Motor Company, reorganizes as an automobile manufacturer. He would sell the struggling company 2 years later to the Ford Motor Company. Charles Dutroux won the first ever winter gold medal. He was an American skater. It was in 1924 at the first Winter Games in France, winning the 500 meter. 1960, Pete Rozelle elected as NFL commissioner on the 23rd ballot. Thank goodness they got that right. Without him, do they have the vision of what becomes the strongest league in American sports? Elvis's Are You Lonesome Tonight hits number 1 today in 61. The final studio album by Simon and Garfunkel, Bridge Over Troubled Water, released today in 1970. It would win the Grammy as Album of the Year. Just a good old boys. Dukes of Hazzard premiered today in 1979. The Bears cap off their remarkable season, winning Super Bowl 20 in New Orleans 46-10. Richard Dent, your MVP. After 2 years on London's West End, Phantom of the Opera debuts on Broadway today in 1988. I saw it in London. You saw it on Broadway, right?
Correct.
Today in 1992, Super Bowl 26 at the Metrodome. The Washington Redskins beat the Bills. Mark Rippon, your MVP.
I was there, and I was wondering, why the hell is Thurman Thomas not on the field? I can see him right there. Why is he not? Why is Kenneth Davis starting at tailback? What's going on? The whole missing helmet controversy.
97, Green Bay beats New England by 14. A push, as we found out, in Super Bowl 31 in New Orleans. Desmond Howard, your MVP.
Bill Parcells' last game as Patriots head coach Pete Carroll would replace him.
Today in 1998, Clinton uttered the words, I want to say one thing to the American people. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I know it's a bad Clinton, but it's as good as I've got, David.
Well, and I would say, sir, that your definition is a little different than the rest of ours. So,
couple of things today in 2003. Jimmy Kimmel Live debuts on ABC, but more importantly, the Bucks in San Diego pound the Raiders 48-21. Dexter Jackson, the MVP. And it was 6 years ago today that Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash near Los Angeles. General Douglas MacArthur, Paul Newman, Bob Uecker, former Michigan coach Gary Moeller, Gene Siskel, and Eddie Van Halen would have all celebrated birthdays today.
wow.
Yeah.
What a list of talent there.
No kidding. Anita Baker and Ellen DeGeneres are both 68. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, he is 65 today. Vince Carter is 49. Manti Te'o is 35. No word on how old his girlfriend is.
Hello.
Anything I missed there, David?
Just a factoid. Today was the day in 1980 that President Carter went to the U.S. Olympic Committee and said, I recommend that you give Russia a 3-week ultimatum to get out of Afghanistan, or we're not going to go to the Olympics. And the athletes were bent. They were unhappy. But the U.S. Olympic Committee followed the president's wishes, and they voted near unanimously to give Russia the ultimatum, which, of course, Russia ignored, and then we didn't go to the Olympics, and then, yeah. But anyway, it was 46 years ago today.
Time to see life a little bit differently. Here's Mark Miller with the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
We go to California for the good. where I guess Nevada counties in California. I didn't know such a thing. But on social media, they said a member of the public contacted their office Wednesday to report he had found several personal possessions in the front yard of his home, not belonging to anyone at his residence, along with some loose cash to the amount of $6,270. Deputies identified the owner, thanks to other items involved, and that good Samaritan helping that man get nearly $6,300 back. How's your wallet, David?
Hey, I haven't lost one in, I don't know, decade.
For the bad, and normally this would be the ugly, which means I've got a doozy. We go to Charlotte County, where Nicholas Brown is the assistant principal, was the assistant principal at Charlotte High School. Early Saturday morning, he was pulled over after deputies responded to a call about a reckless driver, adding that the person who called said the driver drove on the median and destroyed a median separation sign before driving away. When deputies stopped the vehicle, the car was missing a large section of its front bumper. The man identified himself as 43-year-old Nicholas Brown, the former assistant principal at Charlotte. Not yet, at least. But he told deputies, including his position as assistant principal at Charlotte High School, he also bartends at Gasparilla Inn. Charlotte County says he had a hard time keeping his balance and admitted to having a few more drinks than he should have. In fact, quite a few more, because he blew a .189.
Hello.
On top of being bombed, they found a THC vape pen in his car. That's the daily double. Not sure you could really bring him back to talk to the kids after that. Finally, the ugly will stay in Florida, where Austin Simmons was arrested for battery. It's not your normal case of battery, however, but because of a prior conviction, he could be put away for 5 years for attacking a man with a ketchup packet. I'm not making this up. He was passed out on a bench, and when he was woken up, he was upset, and then he threw an opened ketchup packet at the victim. Cops added that the victim suffered 2 spots of ketchup on his jacket. Cops found the ketchup packet on the ground with the ketchup pouring out. The packet, which holds around 3 ounces of ketchup, was not collected as evidence. But because this normally would be a misdemeanor, but due to his 2019 battery conviction, he was charged with a 3rd-degree felony and may serve 5 years in prison. That is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Today, January the 26th, it's brought to you by the Cape Coral Police Department. Hiring new officers, other jobs available, signing bonuses also available. Great pay, great overtime, all information, capecops.com. That's capecops.com.
All right. You know, there's games in the association tonight. I mean, you thought there would be. There's 7 of them, actually. Orlando's in Cleveland, 7 o'clock on Peacock. Peacock's also got a game at 8, Portland and Boston. They got a game at 9:30. This is back-to-back, Golden State at Minnesota. They were supposed to play Saturday. Game got canceled because of the unrest in Minneapolis. They played yesterday. Golden State won big. Minnesota's lost 5 in a row, and they're a 7.5-point favorite tonight. I find that interesting. Lakers in Chicago, for what it's worth. College basketball tonight. I'm going to venture out on a limb and say that for some of you, you haven't invested any time in the season yet. Okay, that's fine. It's football season. We get it. ESPN double dip, 7 and 9 Eastern. Louisville's at Duke. Duke's got maybe the player of the year in college basketball and Boozer's kid. Carlos Boozer, that is. I mean, he could win player of the year.
He really good.
He could be first overall pick of the draft. And if he's not player of the year, and if he's not the number one pick of the draft, it's because there's a kid for BYU at 9 o'clock who may be. And BYU is 17-2. They're ranked in the top 15 in the country, and they're a home dog to number 1 and 20-0 Arizona.
The freshman had 43 in his last game.
Yep. AJ Dibansa. This is the kid that BYU bought during the offseason. And we said, hey, BYU ain't playing around. They just bought this college hooper, and I think they paid him like 2.5. Yeah. Listen, there's a kid at Illinois. There's a kid at Kansas. There's Boozer. There's Dibansa. Okay. The top 5 of this draft is going to be incredible. It really is. I don't know that nobody cares anymore and what have you. No, I mean real talents, franchise-changing type talents here. And you should see their Saturday scorecard, if you will. 3 of them scored over 40. 3 of them. They're 18. Just saying. The kid from Illinois went in and single-handedly beat Purdue.
Yeah, they're without one of their other good players for that game who broke his hand. So, I mean, he did it by himself, which was amazing.
So we have a system play tonight, and our system got destroyed over the weekend. Destroyed. Our system was doing pretty well to fairly well and went 0-6 on Saturday.
Where's our system play?
That's right. BYU's ranked. My bad.
I was going to say, I didn't see one. You fooled me there.
I'm sorry.
By the way, Lightning at home tonight for the Mammoth. Had to laugh. McDavid, I reported on Friday, 2 back-to-back games without points. Yeah, he came back Saturday and had a 5-point night.
Here's the funny thing. The outdoor game for the Lightning's coming up in like a week. Okay, and there might be a freeze warning during the game. Remember how concerned we were about the NHL outdoors in Tampa? Well, apparently it might be too cold. Have a great rest of your day, Miller and Moulton. Lee County Economic Development will release its 2025 annual report on February 5th at their annual meeting. It's a powerful look at our local economy, highlighting key data, emerging trends, and performance from the past year. The report covers major industries, workforce initiatives, business growth, and partnerships that drive Lee County forward. For more information about the annual meeting and the Economic Development Office, visit leecountybusiness.com. Lee County, building a better community through business, sports, and tourism.
When Glass Doctor replaces your windshield, we don't just send you on your way, we send you off protected. Your local Glass Doctor includes the industry's only 12-month windshield protection plan at no extra cost. That means unlimited chip repairs and even a one-time replacement if needed. High-quality service backed by real peace of mind, right here in your neighborhood.
Glass Doctor, Glass Doctor. Call the Glass Doctor, we fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Exclusions apply. See your local Glass Doctor for details.
American Paint Supplies, for nearly 30 years, is your one-stop shop for all your coating needs. If you are a designer, a contractor, a professional painter, or a weekend warrior, American Paint Supplies is the place where experts go to get expert solutions. At 6100 Shirley Street in Naples off of Pine Ridge, American Paint Supplies delivers the best solutions with the best products with the best support. Meet Gene and his team today at American Paint Supplies. Call 239-566-2700. That's 566-2700 or online at AmericanPaintSupplies.net.
Cape Coral Police Department is growing and they want you to be a part of it. They're hiring new officers. Starting pay is between $74,000 and $90,000 depending on your experience. And with a $10,000 hiring bonus, you could be making $100,000. Enjoy paid holidays, off-duty details, plenty of OT opportunities. They're also hiring dispatchers and professional staff. So go to CapeCops.com. CapeCops.com. Be brave, be best, be Cape.
Your roof is your home's first line of defense. At Pelican Roofing of Florida, Ronnie John and their team bring years of experience to protect what matters most, your family and your business. From residential repairs to large-scale commercial roofing, we deliver honest work, fair pricing, and quality you can trust. An upgrade on your roof can lower your insurance costs. Don't wait for a leak to turn into a disaster. Call the experts at Pelican Roofing today. 1-866-9-PELICAN. That's 1-866-9-PELICAN. Online at pelicanroofing.com. PellecinRoofingCompany.com. CCC 1332512.
For 22 years, we've been more than just a jewelry store. We're your neighbors at the Diamond District.
From custom design and expert repairs to gold buying, appraisals, and spa treatments for your jewelry, we do it all right here in the store.
Whether you're creating something new or bringing new life to a family heirloom,
our team handles every piece with care, craft, and experience.
22 years of dedicated service only at the Diamond District.
Visit Jason and Todd at the Diamond District.
This is Miller and Moulton